Good evening and good morning from wherever you are, and welcome to Fridays. The world's gone insane. Let's talk about it. Vance, I've read your comments. I know you're gagging for us to start early. Sometimes we might, but no, we just like to tease you and make you wait, you little. I'm not going to say any other words because I don't want to get demonetized 5 minutes. First 5 minutes, gents, let's try and keep it clean. That being said, I've got my panel of awesome here. I have Zam, Jose, and Shredder. How you doing?
Doing all right.
Okay, right. Let's get on with it. Okay, so today we have a plethora of things to talk about. I want to start with obviously we had devastating earthquakes in Morocco. Just want people to know, like we had the death toll at the time is over 1,000 now. I don't know if it's reached more than that. But just a horrible thing that happened there, and North Africa just basically got fucked this week because we had massive floods in Libya. With the death toll has hit.
It was 11,000 last I checked.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, like 11,000. And the Libya floods, what happened there is like devastating. But what I really want to cover here, hang on, I just want to see updates on rescues. 10,000 missing after massive flood killed more than 11,300 people, where two dams were breached by heavy rains. Yeah, absolute devastation. There's pictures you could see before and after and things like that. But I want to, what disgusts me even more is how the media has kind of reported it, and how the West is like washing their hands and being like, oh, yeah, these warring factions have basically allowed for their infrastructure to collapse and all that. I'm like, yeah, how did Libya get to where it is now? What exactly happened and whose fault was it? You're not reporting on that, are you? You're just lying and acting like it's not our fault that this happened. Because for those that aren't aware, back in 2011, during the Arab Spring, the UK and the United States helped stage a coup in Libya and basically just completely destroyed it. They deposed Gaddafi. They sent funds to different factions, and since the fall of Gaddafi, Libya has just been civil war now for 12 years. There's no real functioning government. The economy is in tatters. Infrastructure is falling apart. And so this is an inevitability that this was going to happen. And the way the press have been going on about it, it's as if, they absolve themselves of any blame of our actions. And I just think it's absolutely disgusting. Shredder, your thoughts?
I'm actually in agreement with you on this one, Panny. The fact is that a lot of the colonial powers that have been in places like Libya have just left the place in absolute ruins, to where they struggle to cope with natural disasters like this. Things like the floods, and also there's the whole issue of global warming as well. I mean, we are seeing more and more floods and extreme weather patterns, which are devastating large parts of Africa and large parts of the third world. And we need to have more of a discussion about that. But we're not. We're just looking at the body count.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. That's the other aspect of it. It's the climate change, and the people, the corporations and governments responsible for this kind of stuff, like Greece. Again, just had Greece had record heat waves this year, and fires everywhere. Like Canada actually had record wildlife fires.
Yeah.
Like wildfires. No, it's not like a fucking moose is going around setting fires. But they had like record fires. Like half of Canada was on fire this summer, and that's another discussion that's just they're not being had, because we need to think about profits. And you all are being very selfish, not thinking about protecting profits. Quite frankly, especially you, Zam. Driving an electric car, bastard, solar panels. outrageous. Like this is the kind of woke shit that just drives me mental.
Yeah. Running off the grid right now. Fuck you, capitalist pigs. Off the grid. You know what I mean?
They'll get you,
So,
mate. You'll be
don't
getting
get me
bummed
wrong.
in
I have to,
Guantanamo Bay,
I'll
mate. before you
be
know it.
back on the grid very shortly but there's not enough power to charge my car, and I'll need to get back on the grid. But for now, I am grid free.
They're gonna get you, mate, one way or another.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, I just like the main area of focus I wanted to do about Libya. I don't know, Jose or Zam, if you got anything you want to say about this.
All I can say. Go ahead. Sam.
Sorry, go on.
Okay, all I could say is that tragedy sucks, and unfortunately, as you all know in the media, tragedy sells, and that's what this is all about. It's like instead of us helping our fellow man, it's like, oh, like Penny just said, it's all about the body count and that type of shit, and we should do more to have these conversations about climate change and this and that to protect the earth, because I got to be real, I'm a little worried about what's going to happen, in another 40, 50, 60 years. They've said that like these past 10 years here in America have been the hottest in the decade, and now you're seeing more storms and floods and tornadoes all over the world when that kind of stuff used to not happen. So yeah, climate change is a problem that really needs to be addressed in my view.
Yeah. Zam, Vance, war is business and business is good, unfortunately. You're right, Vance.
Yeah, he's right.
Like regarding America, like the whole country seems to be like a template for every natural disaster on the fucking planet. It happens at some part of that country. But going back to Libya and Morocco, I don't feel that there is much press on that, because who gives a fuck? They're Arabs, they're North Africans, they're Middle, not Middle Easterns, but they're not white, so who gives a fuck?
No, there's been a lot of press on there, but on Libya, it's just been wrong. Everything they've reported has been wrong.
With some other parts of the world, when certain things happen, like the press is relentless, and and the reporting is consistent. But I maybe Turkey was the exception to the rule, because when they had their earthquakes, it was remarkable how much press was on Turkey, but at the same time, no one gave a fuck about Syria.
Nobody reported on Syria. In fact, the United States went as far as to block aid getting to Syria to help the victims there.
Because
that's
of course,
This is a lot like if you look at the disparity back when the Titan submersible went down. You had that massive tragedy just off the coast of Greece.
Yeah,
where a boat of refugees 700
passengers.
All those hundreds of people lost their lives and got barely any coverage compared to a white billionaire and 4 of his passengers who paid $250,000 a piece.
Yeah, exactly. And they were and nobody was necessarily like mourning those fuckers. They were mocking them, because of because them being billionaires and doing stupid shit like that. No one felt sorry for them, and I was hoping that would be a sign of the times, but those signs of the times quickly get washed away because the next news story just ran the fucking corner.
Well, this is it. But the thing is like what you notice, like year after year, is these kind of the environmental disasters. They're just so bloody commonplace now that there is the fear that news won't report on it. Hey, Jim. As frequently, because they're just going to be like, yeah, no one's going to read or listen or that, because that's not the point. The point is the world is fucked. The climate scientists and even like Exxon are like, yeah, well, we're not going to hit our target to reduce the Earth's temperature. Like, yeah, no shit. When you're sitting there carrying on trying to frack and drill for more oil, and it's like it's a frustration that just a handful of people are allowed to just systematically fuck the planet beyond repair, and we will suffer for it. They're not going to suffer for it. They don't care. We're the ones that suffer for it.
No, but they're going to suffer too. Like they share this planet, but they just don't give a fuck. And all this stuff are like people keep because unfortunately, because of science fiction, people assume that these motherfuckers are going to end up living in space or living underground or whatever. No, these motherfuckers want to live on Earth like the rest of us. They want to go to all their fancy restaurants and do all their fancy things. The last thing they want to do is be secluded and not be able to do anything anymore and probably have to work for themselves because they fucking fucked over the planet. No, they don't want that, but they don't realize they're fucking doing that, and
Yeah, but
there's no contingency plan for these motherfuckers. I guarantee it. They just don't fucking care.
Everything's short
You know
term.
what I mean?
Everything's like, the capitalism is just short term. Quarterly returns. Gotta have your quarterly returns. Shred up.
I'm going to disagree with you in the fact that none of these fucking bastards, who are doing all this mass polluting, really give a shit about the planet, because they all basically assume, well, I'm going to be fucking dead by the time this, shit really hits the fan. So I'm just going to assemble as much wealth as I can and enjoy whatever I can until that day happens.
Yeah, they don't care about their family.
They do not
their
give
families.
a shit. Do you honestly
care about their families?
Do you honestly think the Koch brothers give a shit about what happens to their next generations going forward, apart from how much money they can leave them?
Yeah, they don't care. Like they if you look at the Koch brothers and what they did to one of their brothers to take all his money, they're complete fucking sociopaths. The people here, they only think about themselves. They don't even give a fuck about their family. I mean, Vince McMahon is like, a good example of how these people function. Whereas rather than say, okay, when I die, I'm going to leave the company to my kids, they're like, no, I'm just going to make as much money as I can while I'm alive. And then what happens afterwards, I'll give a fuck, kind of thing. And this is, unfortunately, these are the people that are practically running the world.
And I'm just going to say, they won't care until it happens to them, because that's the trend. People don't give a shit until it's going to happen to you. And then you start to give a fuck, because before it's like, oh, you think, oh, this can't happen to me. Yes, the fuck it can. And yes, the fuck it will. It's going to affect all of us.
Yeah. I mean,
that covers a multitude of different things. I mean, the American conservative movement, for example. I mean, Megyn Kelly didn't give a shit about maternity leave until she got knocked up with a baby.
Yep.
Rush Limbaugh was the one I was thinking of. He demonized drug treatment programs until all of a sudden he had to reveal that he was addicted to painkillers, and then all of a sudden he's massively in favor of it.
Yep.
And look at how many Republicans were opposed to gay marriage until their own relatives came out
coming out. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Nancy Reagan and Dick Cheney, they were anti-gay until they realized they got kids who are gay themselves, and all of a sudden they gave a shit. Like, once again, it makes me wonder though. But the only person who's the exception to that rule is Ted Cruz. Doesn't matter that his wife gets burned by Donald Trump. Doesn't matter that his daughter's fucking bisexual. He's willing to sell every fucking body out for the sake of maybe remaining in office as a senator.
Biden
don't care. He don't care.
Yeah, Biden's another one. This guy fucking wanted to extend and punish drug users even more, despite the fact that his son's a crackhead. I mean, that guy was behind the crime bill and all this kind of shit.
Good for you, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Please retire already. Please go sit your old ass down. We don't want you back in 2024. At least I don't.
Well, I mean, he's in deep trouble if he runs in 24. There's not many people like him, unless he uses executive powers to push through. No, go away, Cat. Stop it. Oh, every time.
I mean, in fairness, who have the Republicans got to run up against them if it's not Trump? I mean, Ron DeSantis would lose badly, according to the polls.
DeSantis would get decimated. I'd be all in.
Anybody else?
The one thing for sure is
Nikki Haley.
The one thing for sure is the Republican primary thing. When that's going to happen next year, it's going to be fucking popcorn and comedy all the way through. Sitting them watching turn on each other and bicker like fucking 5-year-olds. I can't wait.
Yeah. Retirement home versus prison cell 2024.
I think Chris Christie would have a best chance, because I think Democrats would vote for him, because he's. I think Democrats would vote for Chris Christie, even though it would be against their best interest, because he seems the most honourable, even though he isn't. But he seems the most honourable of all the Republicans, but he's not kissing Trump's ass.
That's the only thing he's got going for him, is that he has no fear. But in the previous election, he was licking Trump's ass despite getting his ass handed to him, and he was
Yep.
put on the platform to take down Paul Ryan on the promise that you can get a spot on my cabinet, but then it was just like,
I think
actually,
it was vice president.
yeah, you helped prosecute Jared Kushner, so fuck you. So now we're in the position of he's just like, screw it, I got nothing to lose, I'm just going to go after Trump. But then in the debates, he just didn't leave his mark, so his kind of stock has
The one thing for sure is it's
gone
going to be the one thing I can tell you as an American. It's just going to be pure comedy for the next year, and I'm like, Saturday Night Live has so much gold they can work with over the next 12 months, 12 to 16 months. It's going to be hilarious.
Well, the thing is, right, Vance brought up retirement home versus prison cell 2024. Trump recently challenged Biden to take an acuity test to prove that he's physically and mentally fit for office still. Now, the best response I've heard to that is that Biden should just say to him, "Let's go, fat boy."
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see a cognitive test between the two of them. Yeah.
Biden is slowing down, and I think that's mostly to do with his age. I don't think he is actually suffering from signs of senility, like say Mitch McConnell is.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to his physical well-being, Biden is a hell of a lot better shape than Trump is. I mean,
yeah.
Biden just recently celebrated his 81st birthday.
But you got to remember, I'm 215 pounds. I'm 215 pounds. I'm perfectly normal. I'm perfectly.
Yeah,
I'm
toned. He claims he's 6'3" and 215 pounds, which is pretty much the exact same body statistics as Chris Hemsworth.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's just hilarious.
Again, if Biden was to say to Trump, "Let's go, fat boy," and he just backs down, Biden could spend the next year just saying to the press, anyone heard from Trump regarding the acuity test?
Yep.
Has he forgotten?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Okay, so that's the right, let me crack on from this. Over into the UK now. And actually no, I'll stay over in the United States. Got a couple of doozies. William, you mentioned Matt Walsh, if you want to take this one.
Oh, yes. Matt Walsh was demonetized back in April over his rampant transphobia. He made a whole bunch of transphobic comments. So during Pride, YouTube decided to completely demonetize his channel.
Ooh.
And he was basically told, it was similar to when Steven Crowder used to sell a t-shirt that said, socialism is for F-slur for gay people.
Right.
And YouTube said, right, well, if you stop selling these, you can get your monetization back. So he did. He got it back. They told Matt Walsh, if you tone down the rhetoric, we'll remonetize your channel. Matt Walsh didn't tone down the rhetoric at all. He still continued to dead name trans people. He still continued to call trans people groomers and pedophiles. And lo and behold, it's just come out within the last week that Matt Walsh's channel has been remonetized by YouTube. And he's got adverts on those exact videos, the ones where he is dead naming trans people and he's calling them groomers and pedophiles. And it's making him
real,
and his channel over $100,000 a month.
Like YouTube YouTube is just it's just a walking.
It's gone to hell. It's gone to hell.
Yeah,
they by all rights should have nuked his channel for repeated community guidelines violations on hate speech.
Yeah, exactly.
But they didn't.
If this is not double standard, I don't know what is.
Yeah, it's a massive double standard. It's also just dangerous because they're just saying, you know what, you could just carry on as normal. You might get the odd ticking off here and there, but you know what, just carry on with your hatred. It's fine.
But if you speak about something else that we don't like, then we'll take your channel down, motherfucker. So that's how that works. You can talk about the shit that we're okay with you talking about, but don't talk about anything else. That's pretty much what YouTube is doing at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, they just fucking massive hypocrites. Like Matt Walsh should be banned off the platform. He's openly called for genocide against trans people. He's like,
Michael Knowles.
Yeah, Michael Knowles as well, and all these just like it's dangerous rhetoric.
Let's be blunt. He engaged in stochastic terrorism as well. when he talks about stories about hospitals where they do gender affirming care for teenagers, and that's not surgery. Let's put that out there. That is not surgical in any way.
No.
But they offer gender affirming care, and he puts out the information like, well, this is the hospital, this is the phone number, it's public records, do with it what you will. These are the email addresses of the doctors. Oh, hey, these are the email addresses of people on school boards where they are offering gender affirming care to trans youth. And yet he acts surprised when people start calling him
threatening,
bomb threats and death threats to these people.
Yeah.
And he says, well, hey, I can't be blamed for this. No proof it was me.
What annoys me about conservative commentary, when I watch the Daily One, but I see Ben Shapiro complaining about everything. For instance, he was complaining about a commercial by Apple, which he believes is like a religion towards paganism, and all that sort of stuff. But but the point is, is that one of the things they like to go on about other times is freedom, and freedom also means that people who are different to you are allowed to express it, and so these people are just expressing their freedom. And yet they complain about it all the fucking time. Conservatives complain about people who are different to them just being free in the land of the fucking free. And it drives me nuts because you don't give a fuck about freedom whatsoever. All you give a fuck about is fucking, putting your agenda down and stopping other people from being themselves and then claiming that you're being free, and they're oppressing you by them living their lives and being free themselves. And it really pisses me off. Yeah, I mean, it really does.
I mean, the conservative motto is I don't understand it, so I want to repress it. I don't like it, I want to repress it. It goes against my religious beliefs, I want to repress it. And
I've never got I've never ever got the American obsession on the conservative side, anyway, with regard to the founding fathers. What would the founding fathers have believed? They wrote down all this stuff in the Constitution. Well, these were people who didn't believe women or blacks should have equal rights. They didn't have indoor plumbing, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to treat, well, at least in America anyway, you're supposed to treat these people like they were deities.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
And I think things like the Second Amendment, for instance, which a lot of Americans love to fucking go on about, way more than the first. It mentions about, a well-regulated militia. And the word regulated is in that. So regarding the Second Amendment rights, it does mean that they can be regulated because it's a well-regulated militia, but they just want to ignore that. They just think, it means freedom to have my guns and do what the fuck I want. And that's not necessarily the case.
It was written in the days where, the firearms were muskets.
Yeah, muskets, exactly.
They took,
laws need to evolve.
You could fire, 2 shots per minute from one of those if you were good enough. You could fire
quick
2 shots per minute. Yeah. They never expected people to have guns that you could fire 200 rounds a minute.
No, exactly. Exactly. Or buy a fucking bump stock for a rifle and all this kind of shit. They didn't, that wasn't in the Constitution. But again, if you poison the conversation enough, you can propagandize people to think that, fear. Again, fear equals money anyway. So they every time something happens, they put the fear of God in you that government's going to take your guns, gun sales go up, and
they said that 10 years ago when we had a black man as president. And where are your guns at? You still have them, motherfuckers.
Yeah, in fact, there were more guns sold under his administration because people were saying he's going to take away your guns.
Yep, because I remember that too.
All the nut jobs went out and stockpiled on guns and ammo.
Obama's going to take our guns.
And wasn't it Donald Trump who tried to ban bump stocks?
Yep.
So what the fuck? So, but
I don't know if it was him specifically, but I know his administration did because there was a big controversy. A mass shooter did actually use a bump stock.
Yes.
Basically.
In Las Vegas, the one in Las Vegas, I remember that guy used a bump stock, and there was a couple of others that used a bump stock. Mm-hmm. One was in the nightclub, and another was in the school, I think.
Yeah, but it was the Vegas shooting. I think wasn't that a Dolly Parton concert?
No, Let me look that up. I think it was a country. I think it was a country concert.
It was a country concert of
I
some
think it was a
kind.
country concert. Yeah,
It was somebody firing
from the
down
hotel room.
from a
Yeah.
hotel
from
room.
the hotel room. Yeah,
And
yeah.
people thought it was an automatic rifle because the bullets were flying that fast.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
ricocheting like crazy.
It turned out it was this guy with a bump stock, which effectively had turned his gun into a fully automatic weapon.
Yeah,
And Jose, you're right about obviously they don't give a fuck until it happens to them, because one of the performers there of that event in Las Vegas was very pro guns. Everyone should have guns, didn't want to ban guns or regulate guns whatsoever. He gets the shit shot out of him. Luckily he survived, didn't get hit at all, but bullets are flying everywhere around him. He shits himself. Now he wants regulations because he's been affected.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Yep.
I also argue with a lot of Americans regarding guns. They obviously come after us, mentioning our stabbings. First of all, ratio-wise, America still has more stabbings than United Kingdom in ratio. So it's not regardless of the population being higher. If you respect it on ratio, America is still worse. Secondly, all these other things, when people get hit by cars, stabbed to death, hit by a hammer, whatever, all these things have purposes. Cars have purposes to drive. Knives are not just killing weapons. They have other purposes too. Same with hammers. Guns have one purpose: to fucking kill people. You know what I mean? That's their only purpose. You're not using a gun for anything else other than to fucking kill people. And so that's why they need to be regulated.
Yep.
Well, I've had these same arguments as well, because obviously my partner is an American, so her family is pro-gun. Her dad owns a couple of guns, but again, a simple thing I pointed out was, well, we had one school shooting over here, and we passed gun law legislation. You can still actually own guns, but they're heavily regulated. Private ownership is not allowed. If you want to own a gun, you've got to go through an entire licensing process. It's got to be, secured.
you need a cabinet,
absolutely.
and it's got to be
Absolutely.
strictly for hunting or
target
hunting.
shooting.
and
Hunting, target shooting,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
You want to
You
know
cannot own a gun and have it in your home for home defense and things like that.
Yeah,
wanna
and you
know
can't
the-
own a handgun.
We had one school shooting, and the law changed.
Yep.
We haven't had one since.
Yeah,
You
that
wanna
was
know
Don
the
Blaine. Yeah, go on,
And
Jose.
you want to know the saddest thing about that? It's easier to get a gun here in America than it is to afford your medication. If that doesn't tell you
Oh, of
how
course.
fucked up our system is, I don't
Yeah.
know what will. Yeah.
It's
crazy.
It's just profiteering. No matter which way you spin it, it's just guaranteed profiteering of in every aspect of everything. I mean, to take a slight detour into gaming. Again, this exponential growth thing is that capitalists expect all the time. Eventually, has a huge effect on something so mundane. So, like, if you look at the controversy with the Unity game engine, that's happened, and the boss of that, ex-EA boss, that tells you everything you need to know. He complains that that people aren't being milked enough in the games industry, and so with his Unity engine now, he wants to charge companies like 20 cents per certain amount of downloads, for any game that runs on his engine. Then he wants to charge that to independent companies, and
Are you high?
exactly, like, you know what I mean. So, and he wants to do it so it counts retroactively as well. So if you've downloaded it in the past, even if you don't download it, but you click on the website or stupid stuff, really just egregious greed. And the guy knew this was not going to be a popular decision, because he sold a whole load of his stock before he made the announcement, because as soon as he made the announcement, the stock for Unity plummeted. But the point of this is just like, there is never an end game. There is never satisfaction. Like, the way the capitalist system is now, it needs infinite growth, and they will fucking try. They will find it in every corner. We've seen it now in Hollywood with streaming, and how every studio jumped on the bandwagon, and basically they realized, oh shit, this was a really bad idea, because we're fucked. And then they just started jacking up their prices, and people are like, well, I'm just going to go back to piracy now, because this is just getting ridiculous. And instead of just licensing the net, like, they were scared of Netflix having a monopoly. But the problem there was when they all jumped in, nobody wanted a slice of it, and it just very expensive to produce your own content for your own streaming platform. And if you're not having infinite growth, which is ridiculous that you would expect certain targets to be hit, then of course it's going to come back and bite you on the ass, and it just happens every time. And the gun issue is no different. The manufacturers, they expect it, infinite growth. Mass shootings are fucking great for business because every time there's a mass shooting, the whole media hysteria kicks in, gun sales go up. So this is a wonderful ecosystem for them. And at some point, this is when you need the government to step in and just say, okay, you know what? Fuck all this. But it's not going to happen because they're in their pocket.
What's so crazy is that they want guns everywhere in schools and every aspect of life. But where you won't find guns is any political convention you go to, people are not allowed to carry guns. That's why there was no guns really in January the 6th. And obviously NRA conventions, ironically. You go to an NRA convention, you're not allowed to have a fucking gun, even though they're fucking pro-gun. Pardon me. They want teachers to carry guns, even though every opportunity that a couple kids are very sneaky and cheeky, they could easily distract the teacher, get their gun off them. But what the fuck did you shouldn't be carrying guns in the fucking first place? Have we seen teachers? You know what I mean? Not all of them are should be carrying a fucking gun. And it's not what they want to do. They're not there to fucking have a shootout at the fucking OK Corral. They're there to fucking teach. But regardless,
but it's part of the gun fetishists, gun nuts fetish, which is the idea that only a good guy with a gun can stop a bad guy with a gun, and I could be that good guy with the gun.
Well, it's too many movies.
It's the Wild West fetish, hero fetish. That one day I could be the hero here. It's just like, no, you're just going to end up shooting the wrong people while you're trying to shoot the bad guy with a gun, which we've seen happen.
But once again, these people in power, like whenever they have their conventions, whenever they have their meetings, their talks, no fucking guns allowed, because they know deep down that's where it's fucking at. They'll be safe. No fucking guns allowed. When Ron DeSantis is very pro-gun, whenever he fucking does one of his fucking rallies and shit, there's no fucking guns. Donald Trump, no fucking guns. At his rallies, NRA, no fucking guns, because they know people would shoot them, but they don't give a fuck about the rest of society. They're full of shit.
Oh, and they will go after places that have strict, said no guns in this event or this building or things like that, and they'll go after those places. And it's like the hypocrisy of it. It's like, well, hang on a second, you don't allow guns at your own convention.
Yeah, why are you bitching about this?
Yeah, why are you bitching about other places that are exercising their rights? As a private company, like no principles at all. It's just my way or no way.
Yep.
And it's also weird to think that last week was the the 22nd anniversary of September 11th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look at all the changes that were implemented after that happened. All the things you were no longer allowed to bring on board an aircraft in case you hijacked it or in case you brought it down.
And the fact that we still have to take our fucking shoes off, man, like if we
because one guy tried to blow up his shoes.
If we had got that bastard, like I would say, okay, you need to bring that guy to every airport in America, and the American people should get unlimited fucking kicks. That's how it should be. We should get to kick his ass. But
again, you look at all these changes that were brought in because of one incident, or because again, like September 11th, all the things you weren't allowed to bring on board an aircraft anymore, or the Christmas Day underwear bomber that put a ban, I think, on lighters on aircraft.
Yep.
The shoe bomber, again, you have to take your shoes off now going through an airport in America.
The ones that had the liquid fluids and things like that.
Can't carry shampoo bottles and all that shit anymore.
Exactly. You're right. But again, all these changes were brought in because of one or two incidents, but they can't do anything with the school shootings for gun law reform.
Nope.
Yeah, no, because profits, innit? You know what I mean? You've just been selfish, William.
Yeah, it's money that makes the world go around. It's money that has your action figures lit up in the background. It's money that has Ginger's head shining right now. It's money has Zam's bird squawking in the background. Money rules the world, damn it.
But the thing is, as well, like the irony is, like a lot of NRA members, not the people that run the NRA, because that got
But
hijacked
members.
by corporations, but the members, they're a lot of them are pro gun safety. I think that, you know, the last time they had the discussion was like 70% of NRA members were pro gun safety laws. It's the people that run the fucking ones that are literally have shares in gun manufacturers that are the ones pushing the narrative of no regulations, deregulate everything, more guns, more guns, more guns. You know, but it's one of those arguments that it's not a really popular one. I know you get your handful of nutters and all this kind of stuff, but there is a large contingent of Republicans as well that are just like, actually, I don't want to see my kids getting shot. Maybe we should do background checks and all this kind of stuff. But it's a huge uphill battle. It's not going to happen anytime soon. This
Not
year
in our
alone,
lifetime. It's not. I
No.
can tell you that we're going to be dead by the time that happens. If
how
it
many
is,
mass
never know.
shootings has America had this year alone? You know, it's
Too
just-
many to count.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you're going to need to see a complete massacre of Congress before there's any kind
That's
of
what I've
kind of
said.
gun
Yeah.
law
Yep.
reform.
Yep.
That's what I've said. It's when the people turn the guns on those in charge, or even if they go after just a handful of billionaires, that's
Yep.
when you'll see gun reforms.
Yeah.
That's when you'll see.
I think what's going to happen is you're going to see a civil war among people, and then that's when this shit takes effect. Is when people get too fed up on their own shit, and then it's like, all right, we're going after such and such and such and such, and then it does, and then it's like, oh shit, this is a national tragedy. Maybe we should fucking do something about that.
And it's
Gee,
only
you
if they
think?
go after right wing,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know, politicians or that. If they do it to Democrats, no, they'll still be like, whatever.
Yeah,
But
it
if they
doesn't
go
matter.
after the billionaires or if they go after the you know, Republicans, then you'll see changes.
Like I said, if someone was to take a gun into the Republican primary debates and execute 3 or 4 of the candidates, you probably would see gun law reform immediately.
Oh, immediately.
Oh, absolutely.
Without
Well,
hesitation.
Well,
Yeah.
what about January the 6th? I mean, like they were willing to make subtle changes the moment it happened, but the moment once the dust settled, it was business as fucking usual. They just went back to their fucking bullshit and kissing Donald Trump's ass, even though Donald Trump had sent those fucking goons into Congress, possibly able, who might have killed some of those Republicans, even though they were on Trump's side.
Put the
But
fucking gallows up and we're chatting hang Mike Pence.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Mike Pence hasn't, even though Mike Pence has got issues now with Donald Trump, he hasn't fully swayed. You know what I mean? There are times when he still defends Donald Trump, which is absolutely crazy.
Oh, there's
you
going to
know,
come.
and
There's going to. I could guarantee you, there's going to come a time where we're going to look back on the history of Trump, and then a majority, if not everybody's going to go, we should not have fucking done this, because I
Well, that's
guarantee you
if-
that's going to happen. Yeah.
that's if people who are on Trump's side don't fucking take over in power. Because for me, what worried me the most is not just Donald Trump, but Republicans in general. They'll end the way they are now. That they're willing to end democracy. Whoever comes into power, far as I'm
Yeah, you
concerned.
just look at
You know what I mean?
Project 2025. You know, a whole lot
Yeah.
of conservative think tanks have just gotten together in groups and just like, we'll put our differences aside because we've got one specific goal is to do this, this, and this. And it probably, if you read up on Project 2025, it's fucking scary. And
To
This
dumb
is-
down the country, basically.
it's fascism. It's it's a theocracy. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a joke. It's literally to basically practically rewrite the constitution, especially on the legal levels and administrative levels and all this kind of shit. And that's where it always starts with fascism. It's always you start tweaking and changing laws on an administrative level, and then before you know it, bang, your freedoms are all gone. And any Republican that comes into power, that should scare people. But Democrats, they're not doing enough to kind of actively say to people, yeah, vote for us.
Yeah. The one thing I could say though is like what's going to happen is it's going to be like that guy in the Grand Theft Auto radio station where he's like, I don't know what everybody's so upset about. The government's only taking the freedoms we aren't using anyway, and that's pretty much what's fucking going to happen.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But it's the same shit like over here now as well. So if you look at Suella Braverman, for example,
Hate her so much.
Why, you're a bit of racist, aren't you? But all right. So I want to read.
Yeah.
I want to read this article just to show you again, the language here is very dangerous. Okay, so I'm just going to read it. So, Braverman to have Home Office diversity training vetted after woke claims. So basically, what that means is Suella Braverman is planning to impose strict vetting on diversity training courses for Home Office staff after criticism from right-leaning media that the department has given into woke culture. Leaked documents show the Home Office has drawn up plans to halt courses that are deemed to promote policies contrary to those of the government, including critical race theory. Instead, senior managers will be given powers to decide whether diversity and inclusion courses are compulsory, voluntary, can be attended within work time, or must be attended outside work time. So, a couple of senior managers can decide that. Whitehall insiders are concerned that proposals fly in the face of pledges made after the Windrush scandal to boost diversity and inclusion training for the department's 35,000 staff. They also believe the proposals follow days of critical headlines about the Home Office being in hock to progressive politics. The proposals are contained within draft documents, Home Office guidance, ways of working for delivering diversity and inclusion and learning, which were distributed among staff in late August. They suggest diversity and inclusion training, blah, blah, blah. So basically, right wingers are complaining about diversity and inclusion within the Home Office workforce. And so they want to do better vetting, with basically hiring or pushing that kind of message. That's basically to turn the Home Office into, a discriminatory place. Which
So
is just-
basically,
Well,
so
this
basically,
shit, sorry.
Yep. Go
So
ahead.
I mean, this shit kind of started just after Nottingham Carnival because there's a police force, not necessarily arresting every black person they see, but they're dancing with them. You know what I mean? And they're having a good time with them. And how dare does the Met fucking not arrest all these fucking black people who are wiggling their booties and fucking having a good time and fucking drinking, drinking and boozing and partying and dancing and everything, just having so much fucking fun. How dare they not arrest all these motherfuckers? How dare do they dance with these motherfuckers and and show some humanity? No, that's not going to happen in the future. In the future, they want the police to be just as racist as they used to be. You know what I mean? So that's where they want to go back to. And people like Suella Braverman, these agents of white supremacy, her, Rishi Sunak, fucking Priti Patel, they just don't know what they're getting themselves into, man. They really don't, because they'll be next on the chopping block. You might think that you'll be above the fray and they won't come after you, but they will. They always do. They always fucking do, and it pisses me off that they are fucking letting themselves. They're doing all of this shit. It just drives me fucking nuts. It really does.
They want to save their political career more than anything. Again, that's all they care about. They don't care about.
They're not saving
else.
their political career because the fucking Tories are going to be gone. You know what I mean? They're not saving anything.
Well, yeah. Shredder.
I was actually going to bring up the whole thing with Notting Hill Carnival because Suella Braverman did, I think it was just this week, talk about woke policing. And that included things like officers dancing at the Notting Hill Carnival or wearing pride badges during the pride marches. Or I think in some cases they had permission to wear rainbow-colored helmets.
Yeah.
And again, it's like they've got this fantasy of policing where it's like the Gene Hunt view of 1970s policing, where they just go in, club whoever they need to, stitch up whoever they think might be guilty, and Bob's your uncle. That's justice, when it's not. But again, we know this is Tory party policy, this whole war on woke, as they've called it, because it came straight from the horse's mouth. The deputy vice chair of the party, Lee Anderson, he said this is exactly what the party's going to be focusing on going into the next general election, which is trans issues and the culture wars.
God, copy the Americans.
Because they've got nothing else. And he literally said that's what he said. They're copying the American playbook. Yeah.
But it's because they've literally got nothing. And I mean, here's something to consider. If you wonder why we no longer really have any party around like the National Front or the BNP, is because they don't need to exist anymore. They're already getting their platform out there with the current government.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
current Tory
yeah.
government is effectively implementing the BNP manifesto from 2005.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but this is the scary thing. It's like every, you use your cronies in the press and the media to attack institutions to kind of help push more fascist legislation, and the Home Office is no exception. Now you sit there saying they're too fucking woke. How the fuck are they too woke? They're too understaffed to bloody do their job properly in the first place. And now you're going
Yeah.
after them, calling them fucking woke. But again, this is how it works. You infiltrate all administrative areas, and you just fucking chip away and turn it into fascist pish. Hey guys.
I guess. But what terrifies me
yeah.
more about this is that we pretty much know when Keir Starmer comes into power, he said he's not going to reverse a lot of the decisions by the current government.
Yeah.
He's U-turned on multiple issues. I mean, we talk about things like the police and crime bill, which has removed things like people's right to protest, and Starmer said it's not a priority for him to get rid of it in his administration.
Yeah.
I mean, the Tories shape this country. Whenever they come to power, they shape this country and they shape it for the worse. I mean, look at Thatcher and Major's administrations when they utterly destroyed the unions. We had 13 years of Blair and Brown in power. Not once did they ever make any effort to undo those anti-union legislations.
Yeah, they were right-wing Labour Party, hence they called themselves New Labour. In my entire life, for sure, of living on this planet, I've never experienced a left-wing government. You know, from Thatcher onwards, they've all been right-wing, and New Labour was no different.
I mean, yeah, Keir Starmer is more comparable to David Cameron than any traditional Labour leader.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was going to say, because I was watching today where Rory Stewart, and I think I mentioned this in chat before, he's one of the few Conservative MPs I actually have respect for, said he doesn't understand why Keir Starmer has gotten rid of Jeremy Corbyn. He says, surely he's the left side base of your party. He says that the reason I walked away is because I couldn't be doing with someone like Boris Johnson in charge. And this is a guy who's like going, because he sort of gets, because he was an absolute clown. It's like,
I'm pretty sure Rory Stewart didn't he get pressured out of the Tory party?
He was expelled.
He was expelled.
Boris Johnson expelled him. I think he was one of about 19 Tory MPs who were expelled because they rebelled on the vote on the Brexit deal. Ironically, Boris Johnson had previously done that to Theresa May and not been punished for it.
Yeah. Well, that's just how.
Sadly, somebody always has to be a fall guy.
Yep. Yeah.
Included in those 19 MPs that he expelled was Nicholas Soames, the grandson of Winston Churchill.
My heart bleeds.
But that's how far the Tory party lurched.
Yeah, to the right.
I wouldn't even say that's how far they lurched to the right, but that's how far they lurched to this cult of Boris Johnson, to where the grandson of Winston Churchill was no longer allowed in the party because he rebelled on one vote.
Yeah. Brexit has just been that tool for these absolute hardliners, to just shape the Tory party with exactly how they wanted it, and there's just been no concessions to be allowed. Like, what did we have in the press the other day? Like, they were hoping the Northern Ireland deal would collapse, but it didn't fucking happen. And so there's been that pressure to kind of get rid of it, because they still see it as like a backdoor into the EU. And it's just like, you don't want any kind of concession, no matter how much you're fucking up this country, you don't care, as long as you get to break away and create whatever it is you want Britain to become, that isn't bound to any laws. And they've done irreparable damage to this country. And even still, after this point, both the parties aren't talking about Brexit anymore, in a sense of it's been a complete disaster. Because even Starmer, which he weaponized Brexit to get rid of Corbyn and not the Blairites within the party, but in terms of remaining rather than respecting the decision at the time. And now, when he got in power, he's just like, oh, well, it's done now. We can't go back on it. You know, it's just this
But
kind of.
there were perfect grounds to challenge the decision of challenge the outcome of the referendum when we knew how much fraud was involved in it.
£350 million a week going to the NHS. I mean, you have to be a fucking idiot.
There was a lot. Yeah, there was just.
Yeah, no, I'm not even talking
and,
about like the campaign promises, but I'm talking about things like the involvement of Cambridge Analytica.
Yeah.
The illegal transferring of funds to people like Darren Grimes.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say,
but they didn't. They didn't want to challenge it because they didn't care. They got what they wanted. You know, the rich got what they fucking wanted, and who was going to challenge them? The Tory party.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know whether you saw this morning, but because I also saw it like this afternoon. But Keir Starmer was actually on Good Morning Britain talking about the vigil that was done for Sarah Everard and the policing that was done about that. Basically the hosts were asking him, do you think that the way that the police handled that was well done? And he wouldn't say the word no. He was there going, well, you know, they had a difficult job and it was during COVID and blah blah blah. Wait. Hang on a second. They arrested people during a peaceful protest about the fact that that it was a police officer who murdered her. That was the issue. That's the reason they were arrested. It wasn't because of COVID or any other bullshit reason. It is because of that. So I started getting angry because it's like, dude, all of us know what the reasons why they got arrested. Don't start trying to pull.
Well, Starmer's not going to. Yeah, Starmer is just, you know, gone.
And we see this all the time from Starmer. He always tries to both sides every single issue.
Yeah,
look at the infamous phone call to his radio show with Nick Ferrari when he had a woman phone up. She was I think she was living in Spain at the time. She claimed she was living in Spain at the time. She was actually back in England, but she'd basically spouted off the Great Replacement and said she had the right to live in an ethno-state.
Yeah.
And Starmer treated her call as if, you know, she had a valid point that needed to be addressed, rather than saying, no, you absolutely do not have the right to live in an ethno-state.
Yeah. It's just the man just has no spine, but is also a fascist at the same time, if you know what I mean. So he wants to rule his party with an iron fist, but when it comes to talking policies in public, like, he's just vacuous.
Talking out of his ass, basically.
Yeah, well, he doesn't even talk out of his ass. He just you know, he's just scared to take a stance on something, unless that stance is on the continuation of Tory policies, like starving children, you know, and things like that. Because again, don't forget, he you know what they said that they're not gonna, you know, what is wrong with my brain today? I'm so fucking tired because I did a lot of like DIY today. I can't get the words out. But you know what I mean.
Starmer, like, he's basically winging it, because as far as he's concerned, he's going to be the next prime minister, because the Tories are such a fundamental clusterfuck fuck up of a party right now, with just full on negative press. And at the same time, there are a lot of Tory voters out there who can't believe, you know, that a brown person has ended up becoming the leader of the country, and they won't like that, regardless of how much of a fascist fucking Rishi Sunak is. You know, they don't want the idea of somebody like him, and they'll rather go with somebody like Keir Starmer, who's in another party, than have somebody who doesn't look like them as prime minister. So there's a whole bunch of things going on for Keir Starmer. People on the left are going to vote for him, and there's a lot of people who don't like a brown guy as our prime minister who's going to fucking vote for him. You know what I mean? So it's just, he's going to be our next prime minister, and he doesn't have to do a thing about it because the Tories are so fucking bad. It's just crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, but Labour are going to just end up being the next Tory party. The Tories are going to get wiped out, and you know, you'll have other pockets like Reform and things like that kind of pick up a few, not seats, but, you know, spots here and there. But you're not going to need the Tory party. They're going to be irrelevant. You're going to have the Labour Party, and then you just got to pray that a coalition on the left kind of takes that spot. or worse comes to the worst, Lib Dems. Jesus fucking Christ, we are so screwed.
Well,
But the Tories are
God,
going to be irrelevant.
I never ever
Yeah,
want to
all-
see the Lib Dems in a position of power again in my life.
No, same.
Well, no, but have you realised what matters is who's in charge? Because the previous leader of the Labour Party was Jeremy Corbyn, and now it's Keir Starmer. They are chalk and cheese. They're so fucking different to each other. You know, it doesn't matter what the name of the party is. All that matters is who's running it. And if the right person runs it, then they get my vote regardless.
Yeah, I mean, I don't give a shit. Like, as long as they push for policies that benefit the masses, not the fucking few, then fine. But my point is like Labour now are just the next Tory party. They are the next Tory party, and Tories will be gone.
Starmer's pretty much abandoned every single pledge he made going in.
Every pledge. Yeah. He lied, and sorry, 1 second, guys. He lied to get into power. And I got so frustrated. I went very anti-English here on the run up to the leadership election after Corbyn resigned. He kept saying to me, "What the fuck are you doing? Look at Starmer's record. Look how he handled Jimmy Savile. Look at his position. He's a knight. How the fuck do you think this idiot? You think just because he stood by Corbyn that he's going to be the same as Corbyn?" I was screaming at people, do not fucking vote for this guy. Like, and then they voted for him, and now they're reaping. Yeah,
that was like us with Trump when we were like, don't vote for him. Bad shit is going to happen. And then they were like, oh shit, we fucked up. No shit, you fucked up. That sounds like the same thing going on in your country at the moment.
Yeah, but the thing I want to remind people with Trump is that he didn't get the majority of the votes against Hillary Clinton. Your electoral college is what got Trump in.
Yep.
You know, something vastly anti-democratic got Trump in. You know, there's this whole key states thing and all this, which is fucking ridiculous. So, you know, it's not like people unanimously voted for Trump.
No.
It's just that the electoral college got him in the key states.
Yep.
And you know, over here in the UK, like, so, but the point is those very same people then had a huff and a puff and fucking left the Labour Party and all this, no longer members. And it's just like, why? Like, I know people talk about Americans, but the English are next level stupid when it comes to politics. Like, they're like right wingers in the sense that they can't see beyond a certain point or a bigger picture. They just
patriotism and all of that. It plays its
What's
part.
nothing to do with patriotism? Like, I'm talking about people on the left here now. I'm talking about how these idiots believe that someone like Keir Starmer was the right person for the job, and then they throw a huff, and now they're like, "Oh, what are we gonna do now?" It's like, what do you mean? What are you gonna do now? You go. There's Tusk. There's Green. There's Powell. There's so many different parties. You need to fucking get people behind them. It's going to take a couple of years, but that's your next step. Your next step is to go for those left-wing parties. Let Labour go and be the next Tory party. It's our job to now prop up all these other fucking parties and get them ready. You know,
we're a two-party system in this country, unfortunately, Ginge.
Yeah, because we have first past the post. We don't have proportional representation or ranked choice voting or anything like that. You know, the Tories just changed the rules now for the next London mayoral election, where you like your second choices and all that doesn't count anymore. It's first past the post. Yeah, so it's just so frustrating dealing with people in this country. Like they don't get it.
Well, the first one that I've ever seen was, I think it was a couple of weeks ago on LBC, where the Shadow Chancellor was said, well, a economist said that we should tax the rich and we should tax billionaires a higher profit. And she says, well, I don't agree with that. Well, actually, it says that was you who said that. And it's just like, oh, well, and it was actually in Dale, who's a complete thing right-wing show. But I just love the fact that he just brought up the fact that she said that. Like, it's like, look, if you're going to make policy, stand by them. You know,
yeah, they're career politicians, mate. They don't give a fuck.
Well, I'll just make a couple of quick points. First of all, Panny, I will just challenge you on the whole thing with Keir Starmer and Jimmy Savile. Starmer was not really responsible for the failure to prosecute Jimmy Savile. Yes, he was the head of the CPS at the time, but in 2008, when they were looking to prosecute him, they couldn't because nobody was prepared to actually go into court and testify against him.
All right, I'll take that one back.
So, yeah, unfortunately, that was a Tory smear that made it into the press. You know, the fact that Keir Starmer failed to prosecute Jimmy Savile. Well, he couldn't at that point.
Yeah.
Second, I get really pissed off and annoyed that when anybody on the left talks about Keir Starmer, you know, fucking people over, like, you know, when U-turning on his policies and basically betraying the left at every opportunity, we get people people start saying, oh, you want the Tories to win then, I suppose. And this is people like fucking Alistair Campbell. Alistair Campbell spent, you know, pretty much all of from 2015 right through to 2019 undermining Jeremy Corbyn's leadership.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, does that count towards him too, that he wanted the Tories to win?
But this is what I keep reminding those people that, you know, these are what we call. So, Jose, these are what you call liberals, centrists.
Because you guys, okay, let me get this straight just so I understand it. Your parties are opposite. Like, you guys are Republicans, but really you guys go for the morals that are good for your country and shit like that. And then on the other side, the Dems are the Republicans, basically. It's all in reverse is what you're telling me. Compared to our system.
No, it's a Conservative Party who are right wing.
Yeah.
Then it's Lib Dems who are kind of like centrists. Then you got the Labour Party who's supposed to be left wing.
Oh,
but last time they had a left wing leader, he got so lied about that they had to get somebody else in. They actually called it an anti-Semite.
Good.
Yeah,
Lord.
I mean, so when Labour actually became a left-wing party under Jeremy Corbyn, what you saw was basically, you know, they scoffed at it. They tried to depose him twice within the party. They tried to stage 2 coups during his leadership. Nobody fucking talks about that. And then in 2017, when they thought he was going to get wiped out, he in fact forced a hung parliament, and a hung parliament means there was no clear winner. And so, like, the Tories sided with DUP and all this kind of shit. After 2017, that's when the smears really took off against Corbyn, and it took like Russia, Israel, the United States, and obviously the United Kingdom press and media to bring this man down. There was such a campaign against him because they feared that in the next election he was going to win, and so all these beautiful, lovely 40 years of neoliberalism was going to come to an end, and people were going to get their fair share. And there's no greater example of how anti-democratic the world really is. If you look at it, the whole world, just democracy is a facade anywhere you fucking go, because it's about protecting capital. And you could just look at that by looking at the current Labour Party in the UK and what Keir Starmer has done to expel anyone remotely left-wing. And this guy, and again, remember, the whole campaign against Jeremy Corbyn was that he was anti-Semitic and that the Labour Party was massively anti-Semitic. Yet the current leader of the Labour Party has kicked out more Jews than any other Labour leader in history, and he has caused more harassments against left-wing Jews than anyone else. And this is what you try to point this out to people like, you know, liberals, centrists, and they just scoff. They still toe the line. They still believe the lie. Now they say that, oh, you know, Corbyn's like scoffed at the EHRC and that's why he deserved to get the whip removed and all that. No, he fucking didn't. Again, you've taken what he said completely out of context, and you're still like, so for me, like, centrists absolutely are the biggest gatekeepers to progress more than the right. People know the right wing. They're either loved or hated, but people in the center, they just gatekeep progress because, again, they love capitalism. You know, they might not be as racist or as sexist or as misogynistic, blah, 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 but they still love their lovely little tax breaks, and they don't want that changing.
Because money rules the world, damn it.
Yeah, exactly. And they're just these complete fucking idiots that we end up arguing more with than I do with the right wingers, because they're dumber, because they're supposed to be the smart ones, allegedly, you know, but they're just anyway.
Oh, no, I never met a self-proclaimed centrist who wasn't right wing. You know,
Yeah, they don't think they are, but they are.
They are. Yeah,
If you're-
and you
you're
can
a
just tell because they try to be very central, but they are very very critical of the left all the fucking time. All the fucking time. You know, centrists are hardly any criticism of the right. You know, and they give a pass with some of the craziness you see with certain politicians and the bigotry to marginalized groups. That shit gets a fucking part. And you want to be centrist? Why do you want to be so close to people? I mean, this is why I call myself left, because I don't want to be anywhere near people who are like that, you know, on the right, you know, who are bigoted, who are nuts,
Oh,
you know,
that's
who are
old.
fascists and homophobes.
Yeah, that's old, dude.
So
Well, I mean,
that is old, yeah.
Not you, Zam. Yeah, just talking about.
No, yeah,
It's
that
old,
is old,
but
yeah.
yeah.
And
So is
I've
Zam,
seen
for
that
that
clip, yeah.
well,
Yeah.
Zam's also old.
The old,
well, the
old-
one phrase that bugs the hell out of me is woke. It's like, what the fuck does woke mean? Like, no one could ever define it for me. It's like, what? Right, define woke for me. Like, I want somebody to actually define what woke is for me, and I mean that.
I got
legitimately.
Wikipedia pulled up. I could tell you what their definition
All
of it is.
right, go ahead, tell me.
I'll tell you what the definition of woke is. It's not being a cunt.
Yeah, that's all it is. Woke basically means you're just, you know, aware and awake to both political and social situations that are different, or different to the norms. And
Yeah, but
you're not against it.
it's evolved now. It means whatever you want it to mean. Like, for
Right,
instance, have you seen the latest episode of Ahsoka? Yeah, the
Yes.
latest episode of Ahsoka. Yeah, Ahsoka beats Anakin Skywalker in a fight and takes his lightsaber off. So people are now claiming that's woke because she beat Anakin Skywalker, the same guy who lost to Luke, Skywalker, by the way, as Darth Vader, who hardly had any fucking training, but somehow lost to him. No one gives a shit about that. The same guy who beat Count Dooku, you know, a Sith fucking lord with decades of fucking experience over Anakin, but Anakin was able to beat him and cut his fucking arms off. No one gives a shit about that, but a fucking girl fucking beats Anakin Skywalker, and people give a shit about that. You know what I mean? That's
'Cause she's
woke for
orange.
you, man.
If she was
she's
white,
orange.
they wouldn't be saying that. But because she's orange,
Yeah.
fucking gingerist.
Well,
mother.
the
I
reason
mean,
I ask is
yeah.
because
Look, the people who
Shredder.
throw around terms like woke are just general assholes who, you know, want to make it count for absolutely anything. You know, it's like, wokists want a black James Bond. Wokists want, you know, a lesbian playing a lesbian character. Wokists, you know, want blah blah blah. You know, and it's people like Piers fucking Morgan, who threw a hissy fit over vegan sausage rolls and the lack of an egg emoji on fucking Google. He got pissed because the egg emoji got removed from a fucking salad on Google.
Jesus Christ.
Just when I
Oh,
thought,
Don't you want to?
Mate, they
Yeah,
call
like-
Jesus woke. Remember,
just when I-
Zam?
yeah, just when I thought,
Yeah,
the world
yeah.
was gonna get me stupid.
Christianity became woke because
Yeah, Christianity
teachings
became
of
woke,
Jesus,
woke
by helping
amongst-
refugees and fucking all of that shit and
Yeah.
No,
giving away your wealth and all of that. You know what I mean? Helping the poor and the needy. Woke. You know?
well,
Yeah.
the reason I ask is because our Home Secretary recently said that she wants to remove woke policing from.
Yeah,
the-
we
from-
already had read
Yeah, we
that.
covered that. Yeah.
that made me head. I mean, because like, I just find it annoying when people say it, like use the word woke. It's just like, what do you mean?
Like we said earlier, Lee Anderson openly admitted that that's their weapon. Their weapon is woke. But the problem is you can only take woke so much when people can't afford to fucking feed their families, heat their homes, or pay their rent. And that's why they're just like, you know what? Fuck you all.
Oh, I'm loving the new
Um,
twist, by the way, on 30p Lee's nickname. He's now getting called 30p Leenock.
Oh my god. That's very fitting of him.
Yeah, because he does sound a lot like Enoch Powell these
Very
days.
much like, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you know, like the other day I was watching a review of episode 4 of Ahsoka, and this guy called Echo Base Network, they were reviewing it, and their review was pretty good. And I came close to hitting the subscribe button, but then they had 2 complaints. The first complaint was that the New Republic was too diverse, which was fucking stupid. because it's full of aliens and all that. Of course, they're going to be fucking diverse. And the second thing was the lack of straight white males. Now, they weren't complaining about the lack of fucking straight Indian males or the lack of straight black males or the lack of straight, Aborigine males and Maori males. I mean, Tamura Morrison wasn't even in the fucking episode. There's no fucking lack of fucking males, Native American males, but somehow the lack of straight white males, they have a fucking issue with.
Oh
So they don't give,
Zam is too woke. I'm kicking him off the street. Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it? It's
there's no consistency enough. And I told them I told them you're gonna get a subscription from me, but your issues over lack of straight white males is a fucking joke, man. It's a fucking joke, and the diversity of the fucking New Republic. As far as I was concerned, there was only one alien, the rest were fucking humans. It wasn't fucking diverse enough. There should have been more aliens in the New Republic.
It's too many women, man. Come on, like every once a month they might get a bit too rowdy.
There were two women. One of them being oh god, what's her name? She was in Andor and Return of the Jedi. That character.
Which one?
Oh, the woman with the ginger hair. She was in Andor as well. That character.
Oh fuck's sake! Yeah, the boss lady.
Yeah. So you had two men, you had two women, both of them human.
Mon Mothma. Thank you.
Yeah. You had two men, two women. One of them being Mon Mothma. Both they're all human. So there's 4 humans and one fucking alien. Don't know what their gender is because it's a fucking weird looking alien. I'm thinking to myself, they should do a few more aliens and maybe you can get rid of 3 of the fucking humans.
Right.
Because
That what my biggest complaint has always been with Disney's Star Wars. Lack of fucking aliens. For me, if you've got 50 women on screen, I don't give a shit. I'm pissed off that it's humans on screen. I want to see more aliens. You can spend billions per episode, but you're telling me you can't put a few aliens in there. Just put a fanny on their head. At least that says alien to me. But like Star Trek, that's what they used to do. Just everyone had a vagina on their head, and that was good enough. But yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's just like silly argument of fantasy.
That won't work. I always feel a little bit like I'm being attacked personally because as somebody who is openly bi now, I'm Asian and I'm fucking an atheist. Religious people hate me.
They are attacking.
Homophobes hate me, and racists hate me. I'm hated by so many different fucking people. You know what I mean? And and like I every time people have an issue with woke, I think you're attacking me, and I exist. I genuinely fucking exist, and you don't want to see people like me on screen. And I don't give a fuck. People like me,
like you, people like Hosea. You know.
No, but people like me are never on screen, and I don't give a fuck. But the moment somebody who's not even a percentage of me is on screen, because there might be a lesbian woman, who's a pagan, like there's nothing remotely like me, but still woke. It's fucking woke. And
the thing is, Dan, they'll find a way to complain even if one person who looks like you appears on screen, let alone like an entire cast. I mean, you had Lawrence Fox run for your mayor. Lawrence Fox complained about that movie. What was it? 1914, the movie about the First World War.
Yeah, because it had the Indian soldiers in it.
Well, yeah, it had one. The unit that they were showing in this.
I
film,
remember.
Had one
the Sikhs
soldier in it. And this is forced diversity, despite the fact that was actually historically accurate.
Yeah, historically accurate, and they always underplay
people involved in British units.
Yeah, they massively, like in films. I'm sorry, but you could literally do a whole film on the Indian armies. The British regiment, the British Indian Army regiment, and things like that, and their involvement in World War II. You could do, like, again with America. There's so many like black units as well, but all this kind of stuff is just overlooked. And if they did it, they'd be like, "Oh, it's woke." It's based in historical fact. You stupid fucking idiots.
But again, you put one person of
Ben
color,
Kingsley, and he is Indian, by the way.
Like one person of color, and they always complain forced diversity. You do any kind of race swapping, oh, this is wokeness, it's forced diversity.
Yeah.
Wasn't nobody saying that shit when they had Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. I
No,
guarantee
and
you
again-
what. Yeah, what
Because
nobody
that's from the
saying that shit.
comics.
Yep.
And hell, I've always brought up, Michael Clark Duncan's Kingpin. He was fucking phenomenal in that part.
Yeah, but
Yep.
no one give a shit. No one give a shit back then. They're all giving a shit now. Yeah, now
Yep.
it's a talking point
Because
Yeah.
on social
got
media.
politicized, that's why.
Michael
Yeah,
Clark
like, you got-
Duncan is the last man to make me really cry in a film. Like
Well,
how
Green Mile.
and how he never won an Oscar for that performance. That was what made me fucking hate the Oscars with a passion.
Did.
So I'm like, you're giving it to all the white people,
Yep.
and you didn't give it to this guy. Like, fuck you.
It's
Mate,
the fact that
I
Michael
look
Clark
good.
Duncan and Angela Bassett have yet to win an Oscar that makes me say,
Oh,
fuck
the-
yeah.
Yeah.
There are plenty of reasons to hate the Oscars, mate. Not just
Oh,
Michael
many,
Clark Duncan.
many.
I mean, the fact that, right, Will Smith got banned for 10 years for slapping Chris Rock, right? Roman Polanski is a fugitive from justice and is still welcome in the Academy. He still gets nominated for movies.
And when he won one, they gave him a standing ovation.
Exactly.
I remember that.
Yeah.
From piano over it's called.
Well, what was Roman Polanski's crime? He just banged an underage chick,
Oh, yeah.
It's rife in Hollywood.
He brutally sodomized a 13-year-old.
Yeah, Catholics do all the time. What's your problem, mate? Yeah, it's disgusting. Like it's just that. Again, you've always got to understand, artists are fucking weird people, and look, a perfect transition into Danny Masterson and all the shit that
I was going to
happened.
talk about that. Yeah, I was actually going to talk about that.
You know,
That's
The
some
guy
crazy shit.
gets done 30 years for rape, and then what we find out is that people sent a glowing letter to the judge. And why
Right,
do you send?
I
a
don't
glowing
agree with
letter?
50 of them, to be exact.
Right,
There
right.
were
Can I
50 of
just
these
say
fucking
that's
letters.
got to be illegal? Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm really gonna because look. That's for the judge's thinking. How the fuck did that got out? The judge needs to be like. I'm not being funny.
Everything's public record.
No,
Dude,
it's
No, but I
public
mean,
record.
like,
These
this
are
is
public
court
record.
It's legal records. mate.
Guys, these are court records.
Yeah, they're
Yes,
court
but-
records. They're open to the public, for fuck's sake.
Exactly.
yeah.
So no,
Yeah,
there was
that's
nothing,
how they got
nothing
out.
illegal. There was nothing illegal about one submitting the letters. It was very, very stupid to submit the letters. There was
I agree with
nothing
that.
illegal-
fucking
nothing
Yeah.
illegal about submitting the letters in the first place.
No, I
And
agree
there
with
was
that.
nothing illegal about them being published afterwards because, again, they are entered into court records.
Yeah.
all I got to say is
Yeah.
fuck Ashton Kutcher and fuck Mila Kunis, man. Both
Yeah,
of them.
Ashton-
Fuck them both.
Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis officially punked themselves.
Yep.
Yeah,
They did.
they did.
Yep.
They
They did.
absolutely did.
I
But
saw
also,
that- I saw that
there were other
apology video.
people, like the father and the mother of that 70s show, also sent glowing letters about Danny Masterson, and a whole load of other people sent glowing letters about Danny Masterson.
That's the thing that pisses me off. The selective outrage. It's these two people, but it was everybody else that was doing. The only person I think who didn't was Topher Grace.
That's
Yeah,
because
well,
Topher Grace
so-
keeps to
Topher
himself.
Grace and
It- it-
Vio
well,
Madaram.
And it's the fact is that Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis were the biggest names involved.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again, they are the biggest and most high profile. And also on top of that, you have to remember that Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis have been involved in charity work when it comes to sexual assault.
He
Sex
just
trafficking. Yeah, they have a
Speaking
fucking
of-
charity.
he just
More than
resigned
that.
today. Both of them just stepped down today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that just happened.
Good.
Yeah. Yep.
Kutcher and Kumis filming on the rustic barn by the barn wall
Yes,
sits
I've seen
right
that
next to
video.
the pool. Look, I don't care about that. I know people always bring that up, but they're in their house. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter where they film. You can always just turn around and say, "Oh, they filmed it in this great big lush mansion." I don't care about that. You
But
film
yeah,
what you
cool.
want to film. You're fucked either way.
Yeah,
You-
but Ashton
Yes.
Kutcher and Mila Kunis resigned as chairpersons of the board today from their organization because of the stuff with Danny Masterson. And all I could say is people are trying to, look at two sides to Danny Masterson. The guy did what he did, and he ruined his life. And like the judge said, you now have to live with what you did, dude. Like, you fucked this up. You brought it on yourself.
Yeah, and the victims had to live with it for like 20 years before
Yeah.
they got any justice was served. And that's just quickly before we guys, just 1 second, we'll read this comment here. Just heard Candice Owen has been suspended from YouTube. It's her third, so she might get banned. Zamara
Thank
will
you,
be
fucking
banned.
God.
Good. One down, 2 minutes to go. Gaz, sorry, mate. Go on.
Yep.
I was going to say, like, the whole thing has just been like, look, the thing is that abusers put on a mask to everyone else. But the thing is, as soon as your mate, it could be your best mate in the entire world, as soon as they come up with like that, there's got to be a line you say, "Fuck, I was fooled." I mean, you don't write to the judge and say he was this great guy. You know, oh fuck, you're like he fooled us. That's how it works.
Well, the thing is as well, it's like, look, if it's, I know this is going to sound bad, but if it was one incident, one person, you can maybe give some leeway, like they don't know the full story of exactly what happened, so they're just giving a character reference on that. But 3 accusations, 3.
And two guilty.
And
you know,
two
he was
Two out of
guilty
three.
of them.
Yeah, guilty verdicts. You're done.
And
you're done.
Yeah, and your letter is going in to try and get that guy's sentence reduced or overturned or whatever. Okay.
Well, they couldn't get it overturned.
It was a lunacy.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, can
It
you
was
go lighter
get
on
it
his
reduced
sentence?
because Masterson got the maximum that he could have got, which was 30 years to life. They were trying to get it lowered to as close as possible to the minimum, which I think was 15 to life.
They were trying to get down to 20 from what I read.
As long as it's life, it's.
And the fact is, here's what's
That's
going to
just
happen with that 90 show on Netflix. It's going to end up probably getting delayed, or probably I wouldn't be surprised if they fucking cancel it with this fucking SAG strike too. All this shit going on at the moment. I'm not going to be surprised if that 90 show is a one and done.
I don't think
Especially
they're
now
going
with this
to. Oh
shit.
well, I say that. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
especially because you know, the 2 parents also sent those letters in.
Yeah,
as well.
And they're even though they're guest stars, they're still a big part of the show, and they're executive producers and that kind of shit. So I'm like, I'd be a little worried about that 90 show, if I'm honest about it.
Yeah, and this is a good point here with Advance here. We're trying to make sense of a man who's deep in the cult of
Cult of
Scientology.
Scientology. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, right? Kutcher and Kunis's letters came across much like the rest of them, which was it used a lot of Scientology terminology and gaslighting.
Mhm.
For example, they both spoke about how anti-drugs Masterson was, despite the fact that he had literally drugged and raped a woman.
Yeah.
I mean, they both described him as a role model as well. You know, say, oh, he's been a guiding influence on my life. I want to read I'm not going to read the whole letter, but I've got a paragraph each from both
go for it.
Kutcher and
Go
Kunis
for
from
it.
Go
these.
for it.
Right, so in Kutcher's letter, he wrote, "While I'm aware that the judgment has been cast as guilty on 2 counts of rape by force and the victims have a great desire for justice, I hope that my testament to his character is taken into consideration in sentencing. I do not believe he is an ongoing harm to society, and having his daughter raised without a present father would be a tertiary injustice in and of itself." Yeah, the guy is literally convicted on 2 counts of rape, and Ashton Kutcher is saying that he doesn't think this guy would be an ongoing harm to society
2 out
and
of
should
the
be
3.
allowed to raise his fucking daughter.
Dude.
Yeah, I know he did what he did, but you know what? He's no longer a threat. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Fuck
You're just trying
Kunis-
to. Yeah.
Kunis, meanwhile, wrote, "Danny's role as a husband and father to his daughter has been nothing short of extraordinary. Witnessing his interactions with his daughter has been heartwarming and enlightening. He prioritizes his family, education, and happiness above all else, demonstrating his unwavering commitment to
That
being
is
a loving and
so
responsible
Scientology.
parent. As a
Yeah.
father, he leads by example, instilling in her values that reflect integrity, compassion, and respect for others."
Tell
Again,
me,
he fucking raped 3 people. He was convicted on 2 counts of it.
Tell me you
Yeah.
didn't rehearse that before you wrote it without telling me you didn't rehearse
Somebody
that
else
before
wrote
you
that on their behalf, and they just stuck their names
Yep.
to it.
Mhm.
you know.
Again, again, it was sickening because, again, they were involved in charities that were regarding sexual assault.
Yep.
Kutcher and Kunis also have 2 kids, which include a daughter.
Yeah.
Now, do you think if in the future, God forbid, that their daughter is ever subjected to rape or sexual assault of any kind, do you think they would be fine with somebody submitting, well, with somebody getting 50 different people to submit character reference letters?
I'm not just
To
going to say,
hey, I want to see, hey, please reduce the sentence on this guy. He's a good guy.
I'm
know
gonna
he
go ahead
raped
and
this
say-
person. He's been found guilty.
I'm going to go ahead and say it's
Exactly.
not just a no, it's a oh hell no.
Yeah.
on that fact.
Oh,
Yeah.
and here's the thing as well. When they did the video on Instagram, they
Mhm.
said, "We support victims. We have done this historically through our work and will continue to do so in the future." No, you didn't. You
Not
fucking
today.
gaslighted the goddamn
You ga-
victims.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that 90s show, I think it's going to be a one and done. I think it's over.
Yeah, it's done.
It's
Their
over.
careers are all done. No,
Yep.
they
Well,
they
here's the
shit
thing. We're
the bed.
saying- You're saying their careers are done, but how often has that been said about people involved in massive scandals? I mean, Mel Gibson's career, everybody thought that was done with the anti-Semitism, or
Yeah,
when he
went
left
crazy.
those voicemails telling his girlfriend at that point, "I hope you get raped by a pack of N-words."
Mm.
Yeah.
You know, his career is recovered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not
Still
to the levels it
Was previously.
was,
It
but
was previously.
Not as an
He-
actor, but
he
again,
was
he's
still
doing
able to
very,
come
very well
back.
for himself as a director.
yeah. Yeah.
I think
of course
on
you love Mel Gibson and Rick, you know.
I think on screen they're done. I think from an on-screen perspective, it's over. It's like nobody's going to want to see y'all. Get off the fucking cameras. Go away for a while. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happens. If their
Again-
agents tell them, like, yo,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up. Don't say shit. Go away for a while. Let
It's a
it die
wait and
down.
see.
Yep.
You know, the thing is,
Woody Allen
I
still
think,
gets to make movies.
Mhm.
yeah, I think Shredder has a good point because, you know, he has a beard and none of us else do. No, I
I
mean,
mean, you would have thought Ezra Miller would have been done.
Yeah.
You would have thought Shia LaBeouf would have been done.
Yeah.
exactly.
Again, I think this will be a case of they go quiet for 6 months or so, and then we'll see them back starring in a movie or a TV show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone, you know, in one way or another, will try to have their fucking try to redeem their character and just act so nonchalant about what happened, and not, you know, Louis C.K. is another one after all
Exactly.
the scandals and everything, and he's fucking selling out Madison Square Garden and all this kind of shit because people just don't give a fuck. That's
If
the
nothing
sad
else,
reality of it.
If nothing else, what their agents are going to
Vince
do is be
McMahon.
like, yeah. If nothing else, what their agents are going to do is say, yo, never mention Danny Masterson again. Pretend like you don't exist. And I guarantee you that's what's going to happen. They're just going to be like, we don't know that motherfucker. Because that's what they'll do to protect their careers. It's going to be like, yep, we don't know him.
Yeah, exactly.
And
They just go on, sure.
And here's the thing as well: this whole thing with Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher, it took a lot of the attention away from what really should have been the focal point afterwards, which was the involvement of Scientology in this case.
Yeah.
And what's
Yeah.
going to happen going forward? Are they going to be taken to court for a civil trial, which I expect they will be?
Yeah, they will be.
Who, Scientology?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
I mean, I fully expect it because, again, they were gaslighting their victims. They were, Masterson's victims. They were telling them drop the charges, because the victims were also Scientologists. And
Yes.
Scientology got really fucking defensive when they, all three of the Jane Does, said that, well, we were raised in Scientology and conditioned to understand that Scientologists do not report other Scientologists to law enforcement. Scientology said, no, that is absolutely not what we practice. However, a Scientology textbook which outlined this was actually policy, that was entered into evidence.
No, well, there you go. So yeah, I hope they take him to court.
They will.
Zan,
Guys, just for a bit of levity now, I want to show you guys something. All right, here we go. This is somebody. This is really funny. No, you guys need to watch this. This is a really good parody of Hill versus Babyface.
Right then, so wait, hang on, fuck that. Right then, so there's absolutely nothing I love more when sitting down after a hard day of sitting down is wanting to get lost and escape from being a grown adult into
I
a
feel
big
personally attacked by
imaginary
that
world
shelf.
devoid of personal responsibility and physical effort than to be immediately triggered and immobilized by a tiny, forgettable little toggle switch. Why is this, might you ask? Because I'm boring. I'm fucking boring. I'm fat, childish, and so fucking boring. I can't see past my own fucking stomach. I'm so far removed from being a healthy, responsible adult male. At every conceivable opportunity, have to childishly overreact like a fucking baby over pathetic little things that absolutely don't matter, like pronouns, fucking pronouns. Yes, they are cringe. Yes, they are fucking stupid. Yes, there are only two sexes. We all bloody well know that. But it's not complying, bro. It's not the slow creep of something much larger and much more sinister. Is it? Fuck. It's like fucking tribal tattoos and eyebrow piercings in the 90s. It's just an embarrassing phase that will die out soon enough. What's much worse than that, though, is my utterly pathetic reaction to it. A sad, hysterical meltdown, pretending I'm passionate or fighting a good fight. Why, I hear you ask? Why am I so emotionally incontinent? Because I'm fucking current day. Me, I'm fucking current day. In days past, I'd be working an authentic physical job like a real man. My time would be spent on responsibilities, real human endeavour, real life human interaction, overcoming real life adversities and conquering them all. Whereas now, me, I'm the sad, fat state of current day. I'm a grown, adult male, sat all day in a tiny fucking room, an infantile little baby space where I play pew-pew video games all day in front of a screen, eating shit junk and buying myself children's toys to make me feel like a fucking child again. I'm current day. Me. I'm current fucking day. And it's not just me. Oh no. There's a growing trend of useless fucking pricks pretending on the internet to be all the things they're not just to get click money from little kids. Take this fucking idiot. Pretends to be fighting for pop culture. He sits and whines all day on the internet that Hollywood is just churning out the same dog shit garbage every day, day after day, and only wants your money. Whilst he, for $50, turns out the same dog shit garbage day after day just to get your money. He lives off a constant stream of kids' donations. If your copy is repetitive whining and complaining, then you're part of the club. Or what about this bullshit scammer? This guy has no artistic talent whatsoever. Absolutely no single atom of writing ability whatsoever. He hasn't got a single creative bone in his whole body. Yet he shouts on the internet all the time, pretending that the few shitty woke comics that exist by Marvel and DC are the only comics on the planet. In an obvious attempt to try and make his even shittier generic, goofy fucking spandex man comic look that little bit better, even though it looks and reads like it was put together by a fucking 7-year-old. It's dog shit, but by barking at his poor, impressionable subscribers 24/7 that he's a talented writer and shouting bullshit like, "We will win." He harvests all their money through hype and novelty. You give me your money and I'll give you a piece of total dog shit and then bark at you about how good it is. He's a fucking pink source of comics. Or even worse, is this absolute fucking prick. Puts himself to be a film critic, even though he doesn't know a single tiny fucking thing about film or the film industry. He's made the same video and repeated the same fucking sentence for nearly 5 fucking years. He literally feeds his 2 shitty kids by repeating the same sentence over and over and over, like he's some sort of urban soothsayer that spotted something that everyone else hasn't seen. Hollywood is woke. Hollywood is woke. Right, do you say anything else, or is that it, mate? Have you seen Predator? Does this fucking idiot know that it's my Bristol? Hollywood is woke. Hollywood is woke. Get rid of him now. Yeah, he'll nudge his way onto everything, parroting the same fucking sentence like it's new exclusive news and repeating the catchphrase. There's so
We're gonna get
many
someone
more.
to title
So
that.
if you're wondering what the problem with popular culture is today, it's not some imaginary culture war where we pretend to be the good guy heroes fighting an imaginary woke monster from our tiny, smelly, hot back bedrooms. No, it's not the TV shows, movies or comics with really cringe social justice and diversity elements in it that nobody watches that immediately bomb and deservedly lose money. No, no, no. It's actually us. We are fucking boring. We are turning kids' brains to shit. We have no skills, no talent, and churn out fucking diarrhea content every day, over and over. We are current fucking day. I want warm bitty. I want bitty milk. Where's my toys? Get me my toys. I want my warm, milky, bitty titty. Get me my bitty
Oh
milk.
my god!
Titty,
Oh, I'm
bitty.
so
Give me-
glad I didn't watch that when you sent it to me. That was so good.
I think we might get demonetized, guys. I'm just.
Yeah, I think
That's
we're gonna
all
get,
right.
yeah.
That's
How
all
many
right.
demonetized? It's like, it's just,
That was funny.
Doesn't matter. We'll get demonetized anyway.
Yeah.
All our streams always get fucking like demonetized. But all right, to the comments here. I understood where Hills Babies' current day gender ideology is annoying, but they don't make much difference in the game.
the fucking option in the fucking create your player.
No, but it
Yeah,
just
it's
goes on to
Starfield,
say
yeah.
this here. It goes, even if you pick they, them, the
Yeah.
characters still refer to you as he or she, which is hilarious.
That's
It's
fair
fucking
enough.
stream of not
Yeah, Rick
respected.
B. I think Rick
So,
B's fucking
I
false.
think that's more of a controversy than the pronouns thing. The fact that
Yeah.
you can pick your pronouns, but then they don't actually work
it.
in the game. That's very Bethesda. You know.
Yeah.
Well, Daniel Vance, they're part of the fandom menace. Were people who basically complain about everything Hollywood turns out to being woke, and honestly, that's their thing now because they make a lot of money from it. For instance, the guy called Geeks and Gamers, he would make stuff on Diablo 3 and stuff and get a few thousand views. He made one video on Brie Larson. He got 250,000 views. He's now made close to 200 videos on Brie Larson.
Oh, it's
constantly
Manbear that you're
making
talking
videos
about.
I know quartering as well, but the point is
Quartering.
going on about
That is man
quartering as well.
Pig.
But I know. But Geeks and Gamers has also done it because he
Yeah.
realized this is where the money's at, this is where the views at, and they've gone down this rabbit hole now of just shitting on everything and anything, because that's how they get noticed. They don't. I mean, the funny thing is, they hate on everything, yet they still decide to watch everything. That they're hating on. I mean, they'll constantly watch Marvel. Like Nerdrotic, the second puppet you saw.
Okay. Look, that's
Yeah.
a bit repetitive because we've covered that dozens of times.
No,
That
I'm
video-
explaining to Daniel Vance. Just explain.
No, I
he'll be
get
going-
it. I get it.
He'll go to the
Yeah.
cinema on opening day,
But-
even though he hates it all.
There's a lot of right wingers trying to jump on this bandwagon about doing reviews and complaining everything is woke. Ben Shapiro, most obviously with Barbie. I mean, he predicted Barbie was going to flop and crash off of a cliff after on
Shit,
its
Barbie
second
took
week.
over the
And
fucking
then,
world.
Yeah, it made over $1 billion.
Yeah.
It's Warner Brothers' most profitable film. I think it topped. I think it beat Harry Potter.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I think they've been the most profitable movie this entire year.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
it's
the
getting a
la-
sequel,
the last,
Yeah.
the last movie to make $1 billion, I think, was what, Black Panther?
No,
No.
Mario, the Mario film. I think
I'm gonna look it up, man. I'll look up highest grossing and I'll get back to you.
Have
I'll
a
give you
look.
the-
But
I know
yeah.
there was something about how it had been the last time a movie had been that successful. It was one of the Black Panther movies.
I got you, man. Hold on.
But anyway, Ben Shapiro complains about it partly because he's got impotent rage from being a failed screenwriter himself. I mean, good God, the movies that he's actually had made were utter dog shit.
Okay, so do you want me to go like in top 10 and I can tell you like what the highest grossing is? Because you guys would guess what this is. Avatar is first, and then
No, we're
Avengers
talking.
Endgame is second.
What depends what year you're talking about. Are you talking about this year?
This is like
Shredder?
all time, but let me see.
No,
yeah,
not
if he's
that
talking
one.
about this year. Okay.
Yeah, and by the way, Shredder, the whole Daily Wire is full of fucking failed actors and failed screenwriters. I mean, that's what they are basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah, big time.
All right, 2023.
All
Yeah,
of
because
it.
if you
Yeah.
like, if you listen to Ben Shapiro talk Star Wars, take all the woke stuff out. He knows his stuff. He knows about Star Wars. So it's not to say that like he you know he's not like a fan or all this kind of stuff, but he just knows that the money is just talking about the woke stuff of it rather than just the fact that it's just fucking shit. Go woke, go broke is true. Most
No.
crap
Yeah,
falls.
fuck off.
No.
Barbie
No.
disproved that completely.
Yeah.
Barbie and
Oppenheimer
Barbie-
disproved that.
Yeah.
Oh
Barbie
yeah,
and
and
Mario
Mario
kicked ass.
disproved that.
and Spider-Man. The most recent
Spider-Man across the
Spider-Man.
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of that. It's not. But but to Rick B's point, the problem is if something's really bad, then the woke aspect of it or the kind of diversity of that property will be the thing that gets blamed rather than the fact that it's
Bad
just
writing.
bad, just badly written, badly directed.
Yep.
And so there's always this consensus. But again,
Well,
with the
all
right,
right,
there's always that thing
How
that
much
they want
how
to push
much
the
money did Ben
narrative of.
Shapiro's anti-woke movies make? How critically
Yeah, I'm about to
well were they
mention that.
received? They
Yeah,
weren't.
all of the Daily Wire films, they
Billions.
made fuck all.
Billions,
Yeah,
minus
the
billions.
Daily-
a tenner. You know,
Gina Carano
Gina.
movie made
Oh,
fuck
thank
all.
you, Sam. Yeah, exactly. Gina Carano.
Oh yeah,
Good.
how gutted must she be that she pissed away millions and millions of dollars? You know, she was gonna get a spin-off series from the Star Wars franchise, for fuck's sake. You know, she pissed away millions of dollars to do live streams with Man Bear Pig
Yeah, sucks to suck, doesn't it?
and star in fucking Daily Wire movies that nobody watched.
Yeah. And what did she do? She did the right-wing playbook. Oh, we're the victims here. We're being treated like Nazi Germany and all this.
All right,
kind of
fine, go
shit.
the fuck away. See ya. And then
Yeah. it's
where my
just like,
money at?
You dumb motherfucker. All you had to do is just keep your mouth shut. Just
Yep.
keep your mouth shut. When you're under the Disney umbrella, just keep your mouth shut. When that runs its course, do what you like. And I mean this from a selfish point of view that, you know, keep your politics under wraps when you're under the Disney umbrella and just fucking get your money. Then once you're out, do what you want to do.
It's
Like,
that
if
way.
she
With,
wants to be right wing, I don't give a shit. You know,
But-
do your thing.
yeah, it's that way. It's that way with Nickelodeon
Well,
too.
she's-
It's like, yep, when you're with Disney and Nickelodeon, shut the fuck up. But the minute you get out, okay, you say
Rick,
what you need to say.
Again, because of your own biases, you don't see what Gina did. What she said was wrong. It was an insult to Jewish
She's
people,
transphobic.
basically. And the transphobia is like that one you can skirt away with that even now. But the minute you put the Jews in the spotlight in a negative way, that's it. You're fucking done. You are done. You know. And yeah, fuck her. She deserved to get shit canned. She was
She's
a
a perfect
bloody
example of consequences.
anti-vax conspiracy, COVID fucking conspiracy theorist as
Right.
well.
And she was given opportunities by Disney to apologize, and she didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, or that, just a simple apology, and she didn't apologize.
Right.
You know,
But
but she's not been cancelled though.
No, she's being held to account for her own actions, and again,
That's
she
it.
was given the choice to apologize. She didn't. She got shit canned as a result of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, she got fired by her employee. That's what happens. I mean,
A
you wanna know
private
about cancel
business-
culture. Look what Ron DeSantis is doing in the state of Florida.
yeah.
That's
A private
fucking cancel
business
culture.
exercising its First Amendment right to fire somebody with something they don't agree. That's
But Panny, don't forget, private businesses are allowed to do what they want, except when it goes against what conservatives want.
Yeah.
my
Because
mistake.
I'm sure Rick B had no problem with bakers not baking cakes for gay people. Totally fine with that. I mean that's not cancel culture. But obviously, when a business asks you to wear a mask in their premises, then they have an issue with it. I mean,
yeah,
it's just not
and
consistent.
how dare companies like Bud Light sponsor trans people?
yeah.
Yeah, how
Yeah,
dare exactly.
that's-
I mean,
yeah,
they didn't even
yeah.
spot.
You
They
wanna
just
go about
sent like a can. They
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
sent a can, and then the minute there was backlash, they abandoned her and left her to face all the bullshit with no protections. So fuck Bud Light anyway. And then Chris Rock was sitting there
And
fucking filleting a can not long ago. You know,
Kid Rock.
Kid Rock,
Kid
yeah,
Rock.
Mr. What did I say?
You said Chris
You
Rock.
said Chris
There's
Rock.
no,
You said
there's
Chris
no,
Rock.
there's
Yeah.
never any parties
Yeah.
to the left that never works. That's true. That's not true. But Rick, I can point to many people who've done things wrong in the past, who've gone, like for example, Gary Oldman used to be a right piece of shit. He used to be like an alcoholic. He used to be like violent to his girlfriends. He used to
He's
do
still
all
a
this
bit of a
stuff.
piece of shit, to tell you the truth.
No, but he's managed to
Yeah.
right that ship. He's managed to right that ship. He's managed to become a different person now because he's gotten off the boots. There's different people who've done bad things in the past who redeem themselves.
Rick
And,
B.
listen, we were just talking about Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson's come back. You know, he's come back, right? Maybe not to the levels it once was, but again, nobody really gets cancelled. And all the people that complain about being cancelled are managed to get on every newspaper and every fucking panel on TV and write 1,000 books about being cancelled. It's just like it's not a thing.
It's repercussions
All
to your
taking
actions.
accountability, you dipshit.
Yeah.
Just hold accountability. Like, just because she didn't just flat out come and say like the N-word, for example, people think that what she said was like benign. It's like, you're being a fucking child. You're trying to compare to what Republicans are going through or to what bloody Jews went through in the 1930s and 40s. It's like that kind of like, that is such a stupid, just a stupid thing to say. A stupid comparison, a stupid thing to say. And all she had to do was apologize for it because what she did say was massively insensitive, but she didn't. And
I
so
would
they
like
were
to know
like,
what
okay, bye-bye.
I would like to know what Rick B's thoughts are on Dylan Mulvaney, because he's going on about the left of the cancel culture. Please, Dylan Mulvaney, how do you feel about that? Because
Or the cancelling of Bud Light.
yeah, and all of that,
Just for
because
giving a
obviously,
can to a trans person.
yeah, because the
You
trans
know.
person drank Bud Light.
Here's
And
a
it-
bit one for you. Here's a bit one for me. Brie Larson, the way that the right wing went after Brie Larson, I mean, it was total misogyny. Just because she dared to voice an opinion that they disagree with, they go after her hard. They still try and fuck her over. But she seems like a very nice lady. She seems very intelligent. Hey, I don't agree with everything she says, but hey, it's human beings. We're not supposed to agree with everything everybody says.
And by the way, Dylan Mulvaney was seen giving Tony the Tiger, some guy in the costume of Tony the Tiger, a hug. So then the fucking right wing wanted to ban Frosted Flakes, yet they were so fucking stupid, but they were still eating other cereal from fucking Kellogg's. They're so fucking stupid.
After 9/11,
You know what I mean?
fucking people got pissed off over freedom fries or French fries, and now we call them freedom fries. What the fuck?
Look at all those dipshits who burned, stuff from Carhartt. Clothing that they had from Carhartt. There was one guy in particular, who was leading the charge in it. He was saying, "I'm burning my favorite hat. It's from Carhartt. I'll never wear anything from Carhartt again." Motherfucker was wearing a Carhartt jersey while he was doing it.
Rick B said, "Like the left love pearl clutching over everything." She made a comparison. She just drank a fucking Bud Light, and the right one lost their shit. I have no idea.
The
That's
first
Gina
part
Carano
is
he's talking about.
Yeah, the first part is about Carano.
Oh, so I think the Bud Light reaction was over the top. Yeah, well, I'm very happy that you think
that you agree with that. But the Gina Carano thing, all people said was like, "Hey, man, that's a bit insensitive." You know what I mean? Maybe this and that. And Disney were like, "Maybe you should apologize for that. That's not very nice." And she's like, "No, I'm not going to apologize." And Disney's like, "Okay, fine. We're going to get rid of you." Disney aren't fucking woke left. Disney are, where's the money? We're going there. All right. So, if she'd apologized, people would have moved on and all this kind of shit. It wouldn't be like the right way. Oh, we must fucking burn this corporation down now because this and that. I mean, look at again, prime example with Disney. You say like, oh, there was overreaction. How about the right's overreaction to when Disney said, "This don't say gay thing. We don't agree with it." And then the right just fucking, you're at the point where you've got literal Nazis sitting outside Disney World protesting.
Yeah,
and
Ron DeSantis supporters.
And the governor is trying to change laws to destroy Disney, but because they've spent years giving corporations all the power, it come back to bite him on the arse, and it literally destroyed his campaign because of it, because it showed him to be a complete moron. Okay, you talk about the left, but we don't overreact to the point where we're changing fucking laws just because somebody disagreed with us. Okay, and the same thing goes with like how universities are being infiltrated by Israeli lobbies. Okay, simply because students agree that the treatment of the Palestinian people is abhorrent. But these right-wing Israeli lobbies are going in there and they're trying to shut down student unions, and they're trying to kick out heads of student unions who dare to criticize the Israeli government. All right. We've now just had the whole controversy about people complaining, hey, the definition of anti-Semitism is going to cause a lot of problems. And here we had universities now speaking out that, hey, the laws that recently changed, talking about this, I can't remember what they exactly were. I think it was under the EAHRC, are a problem, because now the minute you mention Palestine, that's it, you're kicked out of university, or you have to then go take the university to court to prove that you're not anti-Semitic. So let's be realistic here. The left might have, and again, Twitter is not real life. A lot of the outrage you see by the left, or it's mainly fucking just idiots with nothing better to do. It's on Twitter, and Twitter is not real life. Okay,
Yes.
Real life is right wingers actually changing policies. We were talking about Suella Braverman earlier, and about fucking woke police, and about the Home Office going after like woke language and all this kind of shit. And what is the outcome for that? The outcome is to turn these institutions to be as hateful and racist as the people in governance. So please, the left had no power. They have a bit of Twitter and everyone loses their mind. But then I expect nothing left from the right.
They have Twitter.
Because you lot always play the fucking victims. Always the victims, no matter what. Any small pushback. Oh, my life has been threatened. So, let's be fucking adults here and really have a look at it. Because I'm that guy that looks at both sides, and I can tell you when the left or SJWs are being fucking stupid in a lot of things. But when I can also tell you when the right are being fucking beyond moronic in every fucking aspect of it. I mean, just look at the world we live in. This is a right-wing world. The cost of living crisis. Who is this? Is this left-wing? Is it because of the woke police that we're all living in the cost of living crisis? Or is it because of
rubber dinghies?
capitalism? Yes, the people in the rubber dinghies. I blame them. Zan, sort your people out. Stop telling them to come over in rubber dinghies.
They're to blame.
I'll get on the cup and string tomorrow and make sure they fucking know.
To blame.
What's that, Shredder?
Well, so Black Lives Matter, they're to blame. Trans people wanting rights, they're to blame.
Yeah, that's
our
it.
fault. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, let's let's be adult here. Let's not just one side everything. We can genuinely criticize both sides, but one side is a lot more dangerous than the other fucking side. All right.
But like the thing you just said there, Rick B, like, about the fact you're not teaching ideology. Teaching what ideology?
Right,
Everything PragerU in the USA now.
He's also objecting to the idea of teaching sex education and ideology to kindergarten kids. Well, the thing is, right, they're not teaching kindergarten kids sexual positions or anything like that.
Yeah.
What they're teaching them is basically things like consent. They're teaching them about things like consent and what is
Personal
inappropriate
space
touching.
and
that, by the way, helps prevent child molestation.
Yeah.
Because a child can then identify that they are being interfered with in some way, and they can report that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also teaching kids that they're and teaching kids that there are different people who are different sexualities and different gender identities. Teaches tolerance of that particular group, so that this whole favorite culture war dies away in the next favorite generation.
They hate teaching tolerance.
They want tolerance. They don't fucking.
They
want
don't.
tolerance.
They hate teaching tolerance, man. Oh my god.
They hate it. It destroys unity and equity. Destroys the whole fucking premise of how the ruling class run the world. They can't be having it. But on the the sex education stuff, like even I've taught my nieces about what's appropriate and inappropriate touching, because girls and boys and all this kind of stuff. But with girls, obviously, there's that danger that they may not realize that what's been done is just highly inappropriate. And so I've taught my own nieces growing up and my younger cousins and all that, say, look, hey, this and this, and if you see anything, just report it straight away. And if nobody believes you, then just come to me or your cousin and things like that and tell us, because there was a real danger, especially when you live in like the like lower socioeconomic areas. There's a lot of dangers around, and all of this, and the fact that people don't want that taught in schools. It just shows you because they don't want to know what consent is because these are all fucking people that want to like inappropriately touch children and all this kind of shit. Like what would your if you're supposed to be pro-life, what the fuck is your reasoning for not wanting to protect child against molestation? Well, because a lot of people on your side very much are child molesters.
To sum up the whole issue with tolerance on that side, by the way, there's only one type of tolerance that the right wants, which is they want tolerance of their intolerance.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
Yep.
You mentioned about your niece. My niece
molestation is what does the Catholic?
My niece is actually going to be.
They hate it.
Will be finishing university next year. She'll be finishing her masters, and then she plans to maybe like travel to different parts of the world. And the idea of that, even though I'm not her parent, but I am her uncle, it scares the fuck out of me. It already does, because she's a girl who wants to travel. If my nephew wanted to do it, I wouldn't feel so worried. But my niece wants to do it, and we know, we're all men. We know what men are like. It scares the fuck out of me, man. It really does. She's a young, beautiful girl, and the idea of her going to different parts of the world freaks me the fuck out. I'm already worrying, and she hasn't even left this country yet. I'm fucking worrying already.
I mean, and that's the thing. That's why. Yeah, there's always that worry, and we shouldn't.
Anybody sane worries about their female relatives because, let's face it, this world is unsafe for women in many respects. I mean, again. Look at what happened with Sarah Everard. She was raped and murdered by a police officer.
Yeah.
And today,
what was by the way, what was the response by the police afterwards? It was to tell women not to go out alone at night.
Yeah.
It was the same, and exactly the same as what happened when the Yorkshire Ripper was around. Again, they said we advise women don't go out alone at night. Now imagine if again. They never give this advice to men. If there's a serial killer out on the loose, his victims happen to be men. They never say to men, "Don't go out alone at night." It's women that they tell you must, stay at home. Do not go out alone. Do not travel alone. Well, fuck that. The fact is, the streets should be safe for women to walk home alone at night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great.
The crazy elderly Christians in Florida are not going to want any kind of sex talk to kindergarten. It's obvious, but the left started calling it. No, hold on. You're going on two different things regarding the "Don't Say Gay" bill. That was basically like if you're for instance a gay teacher, you can't even have a picture of your husband if you're a gay man on your desk at your work.
I'll talk about your wife or your husband if you're.
It's basically a modern version.
Two separate things.
Yeah. It's basically a modern version of "Don't Ask, Don't Tell," but in just every aspect of your life in Florida. Especially when it comes to like being in the public sector, and it's fucking ridiculous. It really is that. And regarding kindergarten, regarding sex education, I really wish people get the idea that it's porn. It's not fucking porn.
Yeah,
no, it about, it was just,
it's not inappropriate.
No, I mean, look what they did over here in the UK. Obviously, when they really like focused hard on sex education over here, it had a huge effect on like teen pregnancy came down massively because of it. Over here, because I think we had like the record levels of teen pregnancy. I think it was either in Europe or one of the highest in the world.
Europe.
Kind of show it was in Europe, and but since after being well educated on the subject matter, it plummeted right down. This was years ago. I think the fucking Labour government was still in power at the time, but it had a huge. It was a huge success. But yeah, conservatives don't want that. They don't want women being taught, and it mainly falls about teaching women. They don't want boys understanding respect for women, and they don't want girls to be involved sexually anything apart from procreation and all this kind of shit. And it's
shagging Boris Johnson.
Well, I'm just talking in general, like in the world here. But yeah, Boris Johnson, I mean, he's practically fueling the next the Tory cabinet with just his fucking sprogs. He's got enough to fill a whole government with them.
With regards to the Don't Say Gay bill, what I would say is actually it's not so much comparable to Don't Ask, Don't Tell, which was mainly for the military. I would say if you want a clear comparison of the Don't Say Gay bill, look at Section 28 in this country.
Oh my
The
God!
fact is,
Yeah.
again, the fact is you were not allowed to teach anything with regard to homosexuality in a positive manner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, absolutely right. I shouldn't have put that comment there while you were talking
Right,
about
right,
that.
'cause
That derailed it. Sorry,
because-
Shredder.
Yeah, because like, I mean, when I was at school, a lot of negative. I had to unlearn a lot of negative attitudes towards gay people because when I was at school, well, towards the beginning of it, it was the tail end of the AIDS epidemic. It was like the early 90s, so it was like 92. I started in school.
Yeah.
So everything negative was gay, to the point that a guy was obviously gay. I mean, like, and I'm not being homophobic. He was like Campus Christmas, all that sort of stuff. It's like I know he's a gay drag queen,
Yeah.
so But he used to get called every name of the sun because all this. You can use called. I'm not going to repeat some of the words because I don't do that. And I had to unlearn a lot of that mentality. And the thing is, the fact is that mentality got bred out of people, and now people are okay with it. And it'll be the same thing with the trans thing as well. That people will get bred out.
We were on a positive
I
trajectory
used to be a homophobe.
until the right wing in America bled over here, and that kind of transphobia skyrocketed here. I'm not saying we were perfect over here, but we were on a good trajectory. Now that's been completely derailed. Okay, there was no reason to do it other than the usual fucking shtick of there needs to be an enemy, and it's just set this country back massively, and it's really fucking frustrating, And I always harken back to when I didn't understand things about trans people, and I remember watching something on TV with a friend of mine, and he just ripped into this trans person, and I was just like, "Well, hang on a minute, mate. We don't know what's going on in their heads." And then just the following week, I went on Blog TV. I just invited people to come on Blog TV and just describe to me what it is that goes on, But a lot of people don't do that. They don't go. Their research comes from very biased sources, okay, or places that confirm their own biases and all that. They don't actually talk to fucking trans people to see, unless they get the Uncle Tom trans person that's just hating on their own kind, the pick me fucking one. But
The Debbie Haytons of the world.
Yeah, go speak to a fucking collective of them and try to understand. It's it's just like they don't care. They just want to fucking hate and be ignorant.
Talking to trans people, right? Green Linehan has written a book, and Richard Ayoade, what's his name is, has like said.
Had him in my cab.
All right, apparently he wrote a forward for it and stuff like that. This is about Green Linehan bemoaning the fact that his career went down the tubes after his whole anti-trans thing. This is what his whole book's about. Now, I might actually buy this book just to see how moody it gets, because this guy is beyond stupid for not understanding that, like, it'd be like no different than saying, I think black people are inferior to white people. It'd be no different than they say, I think gay people should be stoned. It would just be the same. And the fact that he can't see that there's no difference is his fault, not anyone else's.
Yeah, so for those that just wondering, so Graham Linehan was a spectacular writer who wrote some of the best sitcoms ever in Father Ted and Black Books and the IT Crowd and all that. And he just became insanely transphobic. And
to the point his wife and kids wanted nothing to do with him.
Exactly. His own wife and kids left him because of this obsession. And so this is who Gaz is talking about now. He's written a book about how, yet again, he's the victim, not his hateful rhetoric at all is to blame. It's just that he's a victim and everyone else is the bad guy in this. And there's the huge uproar about Richard Ayoade kind of, putting a is it a note in the book, basically? Or,
It's like a forward
he
journal.
basically gave an endorsement of it. He endorsed it as the Jonathan Ross.
yeah,
The IT crowd guy, yeah. That's him.
yeah.
Richard Riley.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is again not good optics for you. Graham might be your friend, but that's. But you know, in the grand scheme of things, I don't know. What do you say to that? Like, just fucking idiot, basically. I think is the best word. Yeah, and I agree with Cheeto. Don't buy it. You just support it.
No, there is no reason to buy his book for the simple fact that, well, one, you would be supporting him financially, and two, what's going to be different in this book compared to the unhinged interviews that he's given or the stuff he's been putting out on Twitter for years, bemoaning the fact that he's somehow a victim because nobody wants to work with him anymore?
Yeah.
What is going to be new in this book?
Yeah, there's going to be nothing new. It's just going to be like, just take your pick. You can take a Dave Rubin book and fucking plaster Graham Linehan's face on it, and it was the same kind of victimhood thing here. It's like Hogwarts Legacy. People buy it to hate it or burn it. Yeah, I mean the hysteria around Hogwarts Legacy. If we want to talk about the left wing kind of hysteria,
Actually, I'm glad we forgot to bring that up last week. Actually, Ginge, because I have people who are trans and they're friends of mine, but they are actually shitting on Hogwarts Legacy like it's a really bad game, and people are lying about liking it and stuff like that. There are a lot of people who are on the side of the trans people and stuff like that who are just not acknowledging that J.K. Rowling and shit like that. I just want to play the game for the sake of it, you know. And they're not deluding themselves either by saying the game is shit. Yeah, because they're pro-trans. The game is actually fucking fantastic, but it is unfortunate because people are pro-trans. They want to shit on this game, and in the wrong way, unfortunately, by saying it's crap and stuff like that. If you don't want to give your money to J.K. Rowling, fair enough, don't buy the game. Yeah, but don't say the game is shit because it fucking isn't. It's a fucking amazing game.
Yeah, well, it's not even that. The fact of when the game first came out and how communities literally went after streamers to try and shut their streams down and bullied and harassed people on stream and their YouTube videos. Anyone that was dealing with that was ridiculous mass hysteria. And just you know, people aren't always going to be wrapped up in the world that you are wrapped up in. You got to respect that a game is a game, and the devs and everyone involved in it went out of their way to say, look, that bitch ain't got nothing to do with this game. We do love the universe. A lot of us love the Harry Potter world.
I love characters in there.
World, you know? Yeah, and they went out. You can make your character trans and all this kind of shit. You know, I kept arguing with the community that this is not a hill worth dying on. In fact, you'd have a more powerful message would be sent if you did nothing, if you ignored it, to say, you know what, it's just a game. This is not the most pressing topic. We're gonna go after J.K. Rowling. That's our fucking target. That person is our target. You know, people like her, not the fucking game and the developers, because even the developers were harassed and all this kind of shit, and that did not win them any favors at all. And it's this lack of understanding, strategic approach to certain things that in the end is what fucks a lot of things up for people.
I fucking
play devil's advocate for a moment. I can, to a degree,
Yeah.
understand why trans people were upset at the fact that it was selling so well, because J.K. Rowling, let's face it, she views every sale, every penny she gets for the Harry Potter franchise as support for her and her views.
No, I understand that, but the thing is, when you look at the whole collective of the political atmosphere and all this kind of shit, their outrage would have helped fuel more sales.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you would have got neutrals that would have come in and be like, oh, well, you know, fuck them, I'll get it. Or people that are like, you know, we have people that literally bought multiple copies of the game just to spite. And so, of course, I understand the outrage.
Like that movie Jim Caviezel did, where they just astroturfed it. People were buying tickets and not turning up for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't remember what the fuck was the name?
Sound of Freedom.
Sound of Freedom. The QAnon movie.
The QAnon film.
Yeah.
Which the executive producer was arrested for Sex
Yeah,
trafficking.
yeah.
Oh my
Ironic.
god.
Deep state,
Yeah, the deep state got to
turning
him.
frogs gay, space lizards,
They turned the
FEMA
movie.
controlling the weather, death camps, Jews did 9/11.
Oh my god. Okay, so we can. There was some other topics I had, but
Oh, no,
could
I just want to just to add to this, like
Oh, for
there are
fuck's
like
sake! Oh, just kidding, Sam. Go on.
like films, for instance, like The Flash. It's got that non-Ezra Miller in it. I want to see the fucking Flash because there's more to that movie than just fucking Ezra Miller. There's a whole bunch of people in that film who've got nothing, who don't deserve to have their work destroyed because of Ezra Miller in that film. And I wanted to see the film regardless because I'm a big fan of DC and stuff like that. You know, there are people involved in stuff. I mean, the movie Usual Suspects. I love that film. Might watch it again, but it's got Kevin Spacey in it. But I don't give a fuck.
No,
It's still a
and the
great fucking
director
movie.
is a massive fucking nonce.
Yeah, I never knew about that until you just mentioned it. So there
Bryan
you go.
Singer,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, you know, and it's got Stephen Baldwin, who's also a fucking dickhead as well. Yeah, religious fucking extremist. But nevertheless, regardless, it's a great fucking movie. You know,
It's a
so
great
like it's a great film. So you have to separate yourself. You know, you got to separate these dickheads from the art that you're watching. You know what I mean? And know the differences and stuff like that, and still obviously stand by your convictions regarding who these people are, and obviously know that they're dickheads regardless of them being on your screen for a couple of hours.
Well, it depends. I mean, again,
Yeah.
I make a conscious choice. I don't care how well received the films are. If there's a movie out by Roman Polanski or Woody Allen or Mel Gibson, I'm not going to go fucking watch it because
Yeah,
I know
it's as simple as that.
how
I haven't-
horrible these people are.
Yeah, I haven't watched a Mel Gibson film, anything new that he's made since the whole fucking thing came about. I don't think. No,
I have.
Yeah, but again, I'm not going to scold anyone that does. By the way, I want to be clear. I don't give a fuck.
Well,
you know,
if we can just get back quickly with regards to Graham Linehan, though, and the whole thing
Yes.
with Richard Ayoade and Jonathan Ross giving positive reviews of his book. Now, the far right tabloids are basically saying that Richard Ayoade is being cancelled because he's getting a lot of negative pushback on it. Because let's be honest, I think there are a lot of gay and trans people who are upset about this, and I think rightfully so. They're like, mate, what the fuck are you doing?
yeah,
He's openly a transphobe who has compared trans people to pedophiles. He openly refers to them as groomers. And here you are endorsing his book, saying, well, this is a powerful insight to him being cancelled. This is the same Richard Ayoade who refused to step in and help out his brother-in-law, Lawrence Fox.
yeah.
So it's not that he's being cancelled. Yeah, he's getting pushback from it, and I think deservedly so. That's not the same as being cancelled and being said, and people saying, I never want you to fucking work again in your life. No, again, people are just disappointed in expressing that. Meanwhile, Graham Linehan is trying to say that he's not a transphobe, despite the fact that, again, he has given unhinged interview after unhinged interview where he spouts transphobia. There was a quote from him that he gave to the Times fairly recently that I found I wanted to bring up. Let me see if I can find it. Oh yeah, here we go. Linehan denied disliking trans people. He said, "Trans is so loosely defined. It seems to cover both Eddie Izzard and a 16-year-old girl who's got dysphoria. There's got to be an understanding of the difference between a transsexual who has been through something immense in their lives and someone who's putting on black fingernail polish and trying to get into the ladies." Now, Linehan, as I brought up previously, one of our previous episodes, I brought up the fact that he gave an interview where he effectively was basically recycling a lot of the old homophobia about trans people entering public toilets. Because he said, if Eddie Izzard was to follow my daughter into a toilet, I'd be grabbing him out and pulling him out by his ankles. Which, look, the thing is, there is a whole fucking spectrum of trans people.
Yes.
There's people who go through, there's people who go through genital reassignment surgery. One of my closest friends is trans and has gone through that. You've got other people who, have hormone replacement therapy. Or you've just got people who, like Izzard, live their life as a woman.
Yeah, without any of the
again,
surgery. Yeah.
And how different is it, right? For example, to look at that entire spectrum of transgender people, to realize that there are so many different types of people on that spectrum. When you look at cisgendered people, now cisgendered men, you've got everything from the likes of Jose to let's say Christian Bale, going all the way up to fucking Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Every fucking one of them counts as male.
Yeah.
There's a vast, there's a vast spectrum of what males look like. Again, same with women. Again, you can have women going from all the way from Scarlett Johansson at one end to Susan Boyle at the other. It doesn't mean that one is less of a woman than the other.
No, exactly. But the thing is, as well, to your point about the different spectrum of how they look and all of this, there was a trans man that posted a picture. When I had my beard, they had a full-on beard, bulky as anything. They were in the ladies' toilets. And go, if you're comfortable with this because this is where I'm meant to be, then okay then. But it got no coverage at all.
If I remember correctly, wasn't Cher's son trans?
Yeah.
So transitioned to male and did actually have a beard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a trans man, born a girl, but transition.
Yeah, but the thing is that these transphobes have said that tomboys and femgirls are a thing of the past now. They're just transing these people, which isn't true. The rest of them
still exist.
Well, they say they don't. I mean, they do. I mean, I don't. I know them for a fact, so I know they're full of shit on that sort of thing.
Here's how ridiculous it's getting. The fact is that transphobes are harassing cisgendered women, saying, "Oh, you look trans.
You look like a man." Yeah. I mean, didn't an 8-year-old woman get punched to death? Was it, or lights punched out because somebody thought she looked like a man?
I can't remember if that was the exact story, but again, I know there's been multiple cases now where this has gone on.
I mean, what's her name? Joanne Lawler, China, before the surgery and stuff like that.
Johnny Lawler. Yeah.
I mean, before the surgery, I mean, she looked very masculine. I mean, she walked into a ladies' bathroom. They'll think she's fucking trans in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? And
Nicole Bass was another one who got it. I mean, Nicole Bass, she had been a bodybuilder. She'd appeared on Howard Stern, had a brief run in both WWF and ECW, and people said,
familiar,
show me your dick.
Yep.
Yeah, ridiculous. But yeah. Okay, I'm going to move on from politics and things like that. We're going to go into everybody. Oh, God damn it. Ben's coming in now to make things saucy.
Oh, God.
We're going to be talking.
I'll bend over 150 for you, Ben.
There you go.
By other fans, that's what I'm saying. So,
right.
All right.
Gaz will bend over and take a gravy enema.
I'll put a tube on my heart and just put some sausage gravy there. So that'll be a fact you won't forget. Sorry.
Like a few years ago, like I when I was in Egypt, I sat on top of a one-hump camel, and my legs were spread really apart. And when I got off the camel, I couldn't put my legs back together again. I was like walking around like a fucking like Yosemite Sam. You know what I mean? Like that, like fucking hell. Yeah,
Nothing
man.
changed, really.
So that's, yeah.
Cool. All right. So WWE is now officially part of Endeavor under, was it TKO Holdings?
Under TKO Holdings, damn it. And we're going to talk about me. I got my company from my father for a small loan of $1 million. And then what I did is I proceeded to fuck over every single territory that existed. And then what I did 40 years later, after paying my wrestlers absolutely nothing, unless it was my son-in-law, my lover Shawn Michaels, or The Undertaker, or Steve Austin, or others, I ended up selling the company 40 years later for $9 billion, and I'm not leaving it to my fucking kids because fuck all of it. I hate them all. So now I'm Vince McMahon with my fireman mustache and rich, and I'm still going to be running creative because fuck you, that's why. And if you think you're going to force me out, you will not. because I am Vince McMahon.
This
Damn it.
thing is so fucking. You try to move the windows around, and hang on, I need
Whoever our tech guy is, I'm gonna fire him.
Fire the tech guy.
Is Vince
You're
McMahon still the
fired.
majority? Vince McMahon still the majority shareholder?
No,
No,
Those are
4%.
he now has
4%.
he now has like 16%. So that means
Or that,
like,
yeah.
what's gonna happen with Vince
That's not
is
cool, man.
what's gonna happen with Vince is he's gonna toe the line and figure out how much he can get the fuck away with before Ari Emanuel steps in and says, "Look, motherfucker, stop that shit. I own you now. I can like take you off," but Vince will be like, "Hey, motherfucker, it's my show." So I can see it coming to a head happening.
There's no fucking way that Vince hasn't put something in this deal where he just has
He's
tenure
protected.
and they can't fucking get rid of him.
Yeah,
There's not. It will cost them like a fortune to do so. Maybe I don't know. You know, obviously I'm not an expert here, but just based on the character of the guy, there's no way he hasn't put his protections in.
Yeah.
Oh, there's about to be. I mean, remember when Elon Musk tried to fire that disabled guy on Twitter, and it, turned out he had a massive, he had a massive clause in his contract where if he was fired, he got paid everything he was owed up front.
yeah.
Yeah.
Give me my money, motherfucker.
That's it. So yeah, there will definitely be something like that in for Vince's mind. Let's just hope that his decisions hurt the product enough where they do step in and say, "Okay, we're not going to fire you, but you're not part of creative now. Just
Yeah.
collect your little paycheck and fuck off," kind of thing. But again, I don't know what the contracts are stipulating in there. I'm hoping whatever it is that we wrestle some kind of control, creative control away from Vince McMahon.
I wouldn't count on it.
No,
I
I mean that.
either.
No,
Yeah.
I mean that. With that being said, there's a whole fucking load of hell to come now because obviously, there's a whole bunch of backroom staff have been fired.
Yep.
That was more
And-
expected at Titan Tower.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was more expected. Yeah, and then now there's obviously once the dust settles there, there'll be a bunch of talent getting fired, and we're just gonna see like it's not going to be the WWE we once knew. It's going to be a lot of penny pinching and less pay for new talent and contracts that get renegotiated with less pay because that's Endeavor. Like look at what they pay the UFC fighters. They pay them bugger fuck all. So
Yeah, your downside guarantees are going to be about as good as it gets, and I don't think they're going to be getting WrestleMania bonuses.
no,
They
and
used to. Yeah.
and while everyone was fired when the whole deal happened, all the executives got lovely big juicy
Of
payouts
course it did.
in the
Triple H got $5
millions.
million.
Say that again, mate.
Triple H got $5 million.
Yeah, Triple H got
Of course it-
5 million. Nick Khan got 17 million.
Beaver Boy
You know-
still has a fucking job.
Yeah.
And
So
won't fix his teeth.
Big Teeth Boy got a fucking lovely payout similar to the like 10 million or something like that. So it's they got their lovely little payout.
We're not wrestling.
We're not wrestling.
Yeah, I love
I
wrestling.
don't know
Yeah.
why you're think that we're wrestling. This is
Yeah.
a wrestling fight. I'm wrestling boots. I'm a wrestling ring.
Fuck you.
So yeah, go on, guys.
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, part of me thinks this is a good idea because Vince McMahon has been writing that show or had his figures on that show for so long. The product's got really stale. I mean, there's only been like a couple of decent things on it, and I think it's because the talent themselves have got themselves over, like, Rhea Ripley, LA Knight, Gunther,
Dominic.
Dominic. But apart from that, I mean, I struggle to think of somebody. Well, Seth Rollins as well. He's managed to get himself flaming out. I mean, there's talent on that show that should be bigger than her. Like, for example, Drew McIntyre. He's an excellent wrestler. Why are you not using him more or using people like, I don't know. I mean, see, I actually know her real name, so Piper. Why are they not using Piper more? Like, using her being Dewdrop and all this sort of stuff. And Nikki Cross is the talent she is, reduced to it. And then they have flaming Nia Jax come back and flaming do the Yokozuna flaming sit down drop on flaming Paul Rhea Ripley. And look, I want Nia Jax to be better because I have heard that she has been in the developmental. But if she's not improved, put her back on flaming TV is a bad idea.
Ah, my hole!
Yeah.
God, I come on that one. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nia Jax didn't need to fucking come back to
But
be
here-
honest.
You think it's
Here's what-
nepotism? You think it's nepotism with the Rock and all of that?
It
Is that playing
is.
its part?
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah.
But here's what's going to happen for those wondering. Short term, the product's going to suck. You might as well stop watching now until Royal Rumble time because it's fall. Gridiron's going on. I know that's an old ass excuse, but it's the truth. People are going to watch more football than they are pro wrestling at the moment, and the interest just isn't
Survivor
there.
Series, dude.
That's
You
for
always
you.
say, know.
That's for you Americans.
Yeah, that's for
the re-
us.
Yeah.
For the rest of
It's
us,
the
who
world.
actually,
The Wrestling
yeah,
Federation.
for the
or
rest of us,
entertainment
Jose,
world.
we still watch.
Yeah.
I
You
don't
will
watch.
still
at
watch.
all, but
And
I'm
we have
still
football all
pretending
the
that I
fucking
watch,
time.
you know. Yeah, yeah, we have
You know what I mean?
soccer all the time.
But
we
here
still-
in the States, it's going to suck. So if you're expecting anything to happen short term, I would just be like, fuck this. I'm not going to bother with it because nothing's going to happen. 2-3 years from now, when Vince tries to get away with the shit that he gets away with, will Ari Emanuel step in and say, hey, motherfucker, stop this shit? Or will Vince just keep doing what he's doing? Time will tell.
yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. But although Gaz, on your point, obviously with Vince McMahon, just all of this, I'm scared for the long term of the WWE under Endeavor because now they're in an iron. They're now not owned by the McMahons, and they weren't going to get passed on to, Triple H's and all this kind of stuff. Now they're just another under a fucking conglomerate, and it just never bodes well. And even if they're going to milk it in more ways than one, and I don't know. As long as the wrestlers get treated well, which is not going to happen, then fine. But yeah, I'm not a fan of this. I'm never a fan of conglomerates anyway. I always like things to be their own thing, even if Vince is a massive piece of shit. But this was why Nick Khan was brought in the first place. Nick Khan was brought in to sell the WWE. That was the end game. The end game was never to endorse, to put it down to your kids, because Vince is a piece of shit and he doesn't give a shit about his kids.
I previously said that he was going to leave it to both Shane and Stephanie.
He said that 20 years ago. Yeah, he said that.
He was full of shit.
Yeah.
Absolute full of shit. I never believed it back then. And given how much he's changed, it's like he's gotten worse over the years, because that's what fucking happens to people like that.
Yep.
I was not surprised that he was going to sell the company on.
And as far as Vince getting forced out, it's not going to happen. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you now.
Yeah.
All the allegations, you can bring everything you want. He's not going anywhere. He's set. He's like, motherfucker, I got $9 billion. I could walk away and still be fine. Like, I'm good.
And besides, look at the way the UFC handled the whole thing with Dana White. I mean,
Dana being a fucking idiot.
Dana White wasn't let go for fucking slapping his wife. Do you think they're going to let go of Vince McMahon just because he happened to pay a couple of women for blowjobs?
Yeah.
No, he ain't going nowhere.
No, he's going nowhere.
He's not
somebody
going
that's going somewhere, though, is Jade Cargill. Could be finishing up with AEW and on her way to WWE. I don't know how I feel about this, because she was brilliant in AEW. Like, I love Jade Cargill, but she is not on par in terms of wrestling ability to what they have at the WWE. So is she going to go there and just work in developmental for a bit, or are they going to put her straight in? Because, she is a draw for a female wrestler. She is a draw. So do you capitalize on that momentum straight away and bring her in, or do you let her go to developmental, because she has been out of the spotlight for a bit?
I'm going to go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. I'm actually thinking that might be why they've put the title on Becky Lynch on NXT.
Yeah, take it off of Jade.
Put Jade Cargill down to NXT and have her work with Becky Lynch to improve her ring skills.
Yeah. Which is not a bad shout. Like, that's better than going. She shouldn't go to the main roster.
No.
And I think she'll do better in NXT, because at the moment the main kind of roster is packed enough. Well, maybe SmackDown could.
Well, the female roster in the WWE is terrible, apart from Ripley.
Oh, they've got some good workers on that roster.
Workers,
They've got
it's
some
just
good
not
players.
booked well.
That's how they're booked.
Yeah. It's
That's
just how
what I
they're
mean.
booked.
I mean, like Becky. I mean, you've got Bailey there, who I love, and do you booked her like shit? So
No, she's just a
Yeah.
jobber now. Bailey's just a fucking jobber, unfortunately.
Bailey's already past the twilight of her career, if we're being honest. I mean, she's kind of at that point where it's like, okay, she's won titles, and now she's like, all right, you're kind of going down on the card. It happens.
But I think she would. I think Cargill would definitely benefit from going
Oops.
to the NXT roster for the simple reason. I mean, look at Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah,
Tiffany
she's going to be a
Stratton
star.
Tiffany
Yeah.
Stratton, when she first debuted, her first couple matches were rotten,
Yeah.
but she's now one of the best workers that they've got.
All right, so she's improved like drastically.
Oh, she has improved
Yeah.
leaps and bounds to the
That's
point
good.
where
Yeah, I mean-
last year I had her as a contender for Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
Oh wow.
And here's what you do with Jade. Jade, you send her down there. Let's see. It's now going to be coming up by the time she goes, probably October. By the
Yeah.
time WrestleMania comes around, I think you could call her up, give her 6 months of seasoning, make her a day after WrestleMania debut. I would buy that.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think
she
she
was
did that.
improving in AEW as
Yeah.
well. Like, remember when Jade started and when she finished, how much different she was. So, a bit of WWE conditioning as well. And yeah, I mean, she's fucking money, man. I love Jade
Yeah,
Cargill.
she's
Like
money.
on the mic, she's so fucking good.
She would benefit tremendously working the WWE NXT route as well, for the simple reason that, again, in AEW, she was largely working one night a week.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
got to 50 matches, but that took over a year to do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think she'd be working a hell of a lot more when it came to WWE because NXT run house shows.
Yeah.
And on top of that, again, she would have to attend the Performance Center.
Yeah. And she's got
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels, and Shawn, he teaches promo classes and things like that with Road Dogg and others. So she's going to learn how to talk. If nothing else, they could do with her what they did with The Miz. Be like, okay, you go home and you take acting classes and you learn how to talk. So
Well,
Jade will benefit.
Jade, I mean, in terms of her mic skills,
She can
they're pretty
talk.
good. She's
Yeah.
great. She's great, got great character and all that. I don't want them to condition her to talk in the WWE way, which is soulless, generic.
Sadly,
garbage.
it's going to happen.
Yeah. But this is why I'm not a big fan of her going to WWE, because in AEW she got to shine. And she was booked right and all this kind of stuff. In WWE, there's that fear that she'll just get lost in the shuffle and she'll lose her character, her personality, and God knows will they give her a fucking stupid
Well,
good night, Zam.
good
Right,
as
Sam.
I took you off the thing because you were sleeping, and
Yeah, I knew he was
just
going
to
to
unfreeze Hosea as well because it's not fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm always frozen. What the fuck?
I don't know
Yeah,
why
yeah.
he does it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's racist.
I
Yeah,
was
hates
going to say, yeah, like the thing is with WWE, that's the biggest problem I have with it. It wants to impose a character upon you rather than you bring a gimmick or a character in and they work around that and they build stories about that. Like sometimes it works, sometimes they give a wrestler a character and it's like a hand in glove. Like you think about it, the $1 million man Ted DiBiase, I know we could talk about him outside of wrestling, but that character fit that wrestler like hand in glove, and that was created by Vince McMahon. Whereas somebody could come in with an already established character, like I don't know, I'm trying to think of somebody like Dusty Rhodes. He already, or CM Punk even. They already had a character established. You just need to build stories around that character. So that's what I mean.
It could be worse. They could go the Chris Candido route. Be like, look, motherfucker, as talented as you are, we're just going to make you into this fucking random ass character that will be
Terry
nothing.
Taylor at the Red
Or
Rooster.
Terry Taylor with the Red Rooster. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's like you've got to let her be her.
Yeah.
Because Jade Cargill, like Jade's rich. Like she made her money before she even went to AEW.
Yeah.
Through her business ventures. So it's not like she needs this. So it's more of maybe just fulfilling a dream of hers or something like that. I don't fucking know. Because she was meant to go to WWE initially, but she chose to go AEW.
Yep.
And so let's see. I mean, yeah, it's I just
I
have
say
a
give it
funny
6
feeling that
months.
she'll end up
Yeah.
leaving.
Yeah.
I think
Because she's not gonna
if
like
she-
how it
the
runs.
other thing though as well. I mean, again, I think they probably will go the NXT route because again, it gives them an opportunity to build her up and feature her to the point that hey, fans might actually start getting fans who maybe aren't aware of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a big chunk of WWE fans who don't watch AEW, but fans who aren't aware of her can then be shown this monster on NXT to go up against somebody like a Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. Yeah. And if she's conditioned well enough in her training, it'll be a fucking great match. Money match. You know what I mean? It could be a main event match if done right.
That could be something that you say for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
Keep her apart from Rhea for all that time.
Yeah, you could build it up for a year. If they did it the right way, you could build it for WrestleMania 41.
Or
in a couple
depending
years.
on how quickly she goes. I mean, hell, if she goes before Survivor Series,
Yeah, you could build it up.
yeah.
You've got time.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that's anything else on WWE? It's no point in talking CM Punk because there's not much fucking.
well, the
Willy
one thing I was going
wonky.
to bring up was with regard to Jade Cargill if she is leaving, with regard to the state of the AEW women's roster.
Mm,
Yeah,
it's going to hurt.
It's going to hurt. I mean, here's the thing: the AEW women's roster has some really good workers.
They
it's just
do.
badly booked.
Unfortunately, they're either badly booked or some of them are out injured.
Yeah,
But they've only got But here's the thing as well: they've only got so many spaces on the card. They're still only putting out 1 or 2 women's matches on it, best.
Yeah,
because
this
it
is
doesn't draw
WWE.
rating. They lose ratings as well. So that's the issue.
Not
And they're
always.
losing.
Not always, but a lot of the time they do.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
again, because it's so badly booked.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's a WWE and AEW problem if you're being honest about it.
yeah,
Both companies have this problem.
I mean, I just briefly counted how many women they've got listed on the active roster for AEW. It's 35. 35
you
women.
wouldn't have thought it. You thought it was like,
Yeah,
7.
yeah, you think
the way
about
they book
7
it.
or 8. But again,
Yeah.
there's 35 women listed on the AEW women's roster. You only see about 7 or 8 of them throughout the course of the
Yeah.
entire year, for the most part.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I think either the only way that the AEW women's roster is going to improve, because the other thing as well, I mean, Deonna Purrazzo from Impact, she's reportedly becoming a free agent soon. I
She's a
think
good get. She's a good
yeah,
get.
she would be a great get, but again, you look at the way the AEW women's roster is booked and the fact that there's only so many spaces on the card for 35 women than they already have. She's probably better staying off at Impact.
I was going to say that. I said she's either better at Impact or just touring the indies.
And speaking
'Cause
of, this
If
is
you're a
quick-
woman on AEW, yeah, it's just there's such a small amount that get the TV time. Unfortunately, ratings go down during women's matches. If they brought
And
back
there's some
Bron
who,
Panty,
some of the better
If
workers,
only.
unfortunately, are injured. I mean, Thunder Rosa is still out injured. Serena Deeb's out injured. Mercedes Martinez is out injured.
God.
yeah, the
Yes.
the what's the British bird? That
Jamie
was-
Hayter,
That's right.
yeah, she's out injured.
Yeah, she's out injured as well. But the thing with Thunder, I don't know what the hell's wrong with Thunder Rosa. Is it her back? She had an
I
issue
think it
with her
was a
back.
back injury she had, yeah.
But she's got a lot of fucking heat backstage.
Yeah,
as well.
she's basically
Lord
like the
of
Shawn
heat.
Michaels of AEW with the
She
women's
is not
roster.
liked at
Reportedly,
all.
though, she squashed it. That's why they had her debut for Collision.
Right.
But again, she's still hurt. She still can't go in the ring.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
I mean,
I think
the
her career's
the only
done
two
now.
options I would say
Anyway.
for AEW, if you want to get more time for the women and feature more women on the cards, is one, you either have to do a complete fucking brand split,
Jamie Hayter has a
Like,
great button.
split the roster and do AEW and ROH, and
Yeah.
have 2 separate rosters, so there's
Yeah.
more space for the women, or give the women a fucking hour show of their own.
Why not?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
That-
Why not?
A lot of
Even if
people.
it's just
I
on
mean,
YouTube, for example. But
Yeah.
Well,
we'll do it.
they can't do the YouTube show anymore. That was part of the deal with getting Collision. It meant that
Oh,
Yeah.
they had to remove AEW Dark and AEW Dark Elevation.
Yep.
yeah.
I mean, pick a night of the week and just give the women an hour. And hell, it means you've got the opportunity to build up angles that aren't just focused on the title belt.
Yeah, and Tony
Yeah.
can afford it. He can more than afford it. It's easy.
Well, it's
Yeah,
easy
and-
to
and
paying for
plus
it.
this-
It's the
this-
TV studios that are paying for that for the
Yeah.
shows. So
And
yeah,
plus, there's tons of talented women on indie shows, not just here but in America and all over the
Yeah.
shop who would add value.
Yeah, I mean, I've said that AEW really should have got a hold of likes of Brandy Lauren or Alex Gracia when they had the chance.
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
I was going to start talking about women wrestlers I actually physically know, so I won't do that because bias. But yeah,
and then with AEW, speaking of like losses and gains, AEW could get your daddy's dead, motherfucker. Now here's my best friend, Adam Copeland. They could get Edge in fucking AEW. I would pop to see Edge in AEW.
I think he's
That
going
has
to go
been
there.
rumored.
Yep.
I think
That
he's
has been
going to go.
rumored. Although
yeah.
Edge has said that he had no plans on leaving. He did have an offer to renew his contract with WWE,
Yeah.
but he's considering whether or not he wants to continue doing it. Partly because he's got a young child.
Yeah, he's got
Yeah.
kids. Yep.
This is the same reason that Danielson is retiring, from in-ring competition next year.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
he has clarified now. He says that he's retiring full time, but he could be a special
One-off.
attraction.
Okay,
He
so
could, he could still do special attraction appearances as a wrestler for AEW.
Which
He wants
is
to
fair
fin-
enough.
He's also said he wants to finish his career there.
oh, that's good.
So
Yeah.
I've got a feeling that Danielson at some point is going to be brought in as a booker.
yeah.
Oh, 100%. Like, I mean, Tony Khan has alluded to the fact that if anything happens to him, he wants Danielson to run
AEW.
the
And
AEW.
Creative side.
They also
Yeah.
spoke. They also spoke about how at one of the press scrums they spoke about how Collision working Saturday nights would actually be more beneficial for Danielson in his home life.
I think it would be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
The best, Rick. The
Yes,
best.
the best. The
The
best.
best.
Now that CM Punk's gone, yeah, that'd probably be a good thing for him to be the kind of like headline talent for that show.
Yeah,
But
bring him
again-
in. Get Edge in as well to kind of help book that fucking thing. If
Yeah.
he's gonna go, bring
He's
him
not Edge is not internally listed, so
in. Yeah.
yeah.
I also have mentioned mentioned a potential brand split, run AEW and ROH for the simple reason that Collision was effectively running the same kind of philosophy as ROH. Shit
Yeah.
made sense.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're telling me that you couldn't have 2 shows a week for AEW, two shows a week for ROH. The roster remains completely separate. They do not come into contact with each other at all, except for 1 or 2 supercards per year.
Yeah.
And hey presto, you've got you've got the roster completely freshened up. You've got new angles, and you've got for the supercard, you've kept teams apart for so long. You've kept wrestlers and teams apart for so long that there's actually interest in seeing them come together once again.
Exactly.
That's a good idea.
Exactly.
That's a good idea.
Exactly. It's just such.
And you,
I
and,
think
you know,
it's such
you're
a
telling
simple
me you
idea
couldn't
that they
get-
don't do
You're
it.
telling me you couldn't get Hunter Johnson, Delirious, and Brian Danielson to work together as a booking team for ROH?
Yeah.
Yep. There's money in it. There's money in it.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
think Tony, he'd be crazy to leave money on the table.
Yeah, you've just got to think outside of your own kind of control and just give it to people that know. You could be a big wrestling fan, but if you don't know how the business is actually run and how things are booked and all this kind of stuff, like I'm surprised with Tony Khan because before AEW launched, you're hearing him in the interviews and all that. The guy knows his stuff. He's very much aware of the history of it all and all that. But then it comes to running the product and you can't book for shit. All right, you can't book. Don't fucking be the booker.
Yeah.
Don't be the booker. Give it to people that know how to book things. It's a 5-year-old could fucking book wrestling better than Tony Khan has booked it. So yeah, he
Well, not
definitely
necessarily. I mean, Vince Russo had the mentality of a 5-year-old, and look how he booked things.
a 4-year-old. He had the mentality of a 4-year-old. So my point is still valid. Fuck you. I'm gonna cancel you, William. But,
I would be fine with if the 2 brands had 2 different philosophies when it came to wrestling. I mean, have the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega doing what they fucking do on AEW Dynamite and
Yeah, Dynamite
Rampage.
I said this before. Dynamite could be the car crash show. Collision could be
Yeah,
a wrestling
it could be
show.
the indie bollocks, and
Yep.
then everything else could be real wrestling. You know,
Mhm.
there's an audience for both.
Yep.
It's simple as that. Like, as much as I want to crap on the indie stuff, there's an audience for it, and that's where the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega could stay and run that fucking things, and also
Collision,
it
we could have
lessens-
FTR, Jay White, Juice Robinson every fucking week.
exactly, and then just it lessens the drama as well, because you put all the babies on Wednesday, the ones that cause all the backstage shit.
Mhm.
Captain Cancer is gone now, so the other two rosters can be separated away from the fucking bullshit drama that goes on, and it's the same with the female roster, who the ones that are causing all the troubles, like your Britt Bakers or Thunder Roses and all this kind of shit. Keep them all on one brand and take the other ones over to the other brands that are going to be professional and work and all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
So yeah,
But you want
Plus,
to know what?
if you've got 2 TV shows dedicated to each brand, it frees up more slots for women's matches.
And do you want to know what? Do you want to know what I'm not a fan of what they're about to do? 12 fucking pay-per-views a year.
Oh,
No,
Yeah,
do not, do
is
not.
AEW going to do 12 pay-per-views a year now?
Allegedly, yes.
Do not do this. Do
Is
not.
that their decision, or is that Warner
I think
Discovery?
it might be a Warner. I think it might be a Warner call.
Well, I
That's
don't think so, because
oversaturation.
the pay-per-views
see.
are strictly AEW's business.
Let me see. I'm going to look it up. AEW 12 pay. See
Okay.
who wants it.
I want to see, because that's not a good idea at
Because
all.
at the minute, I mean, the plan going forward, I know, is to run pay-per-views a week apart from each other when it comes to All In and All Out.
Yeah, AEW reportedly increasing according to
Um,
comicbook.com. Yeah, they're going to be streaming on the HBO Max thing. Okay, so
because the plan is because they were very, very successful actually with All In and All Out being back to back. They're planning to do that going forward every year.
yeah.
And round about
let-
1st of October, give or take, a few days, depending on what day the 1st of October happens to fall on. After this first Wrestle Dream, that's apparently going to be a pay-per-view going forward from now on.
I'm going to go ahead and say I do not want this
Jesus.
to happen as a fan. I don't
don't
want it.
But is it pay-per-view or is it premium live event? If it's going to be on the Max thing,
I think they're just calling it pay-per-view just for the sake of it because it's what the fuck the model's known as. But
yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
still stupid anyway. Like, I don't like
I
it when
think-
WWE does it either.
I don't want it anyway. I'm like,
For
we
a
got-
year, because
I
then you
don't-
can build
yeah.
better stories.
yeah, I don't want it anyway for this reason.
No,
I'm
no,
like,
anyway, but-
give me 4 shows a year, build your angles on your dynamites and collisions, and finish them on those shows to give us something in the meantime, and then make your shows feel special. That's what you were accomplishing with 4 shows a year. And now, if you're going to do 1 pay-per-view a month, you're going to get people tuning out and losing interest because it's like, all right, well, you got too much shit and not enough time.
Exactly. Sorry, I'm not yawning at your comment. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So, that's such a fucking stupid idea.
I hate that they're going to do this if it
That's
happens.
such
I'm
Okay.
like,
a stupid idea.
So some positive things to do with wrestling now. So first of all, Wrestlers has debuted on Netflix. I've been watching the first 2 episodes of it. It's actually pretty decent. I'd recommend it to all 3 of you.
Is
It's
that the
basically
Smoky Mountain? Not Smoky
No,
Mountain.
LVW.
Ohio Valley.
Yeah, that's it.
OVW. So basically, it's actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. To be honest with you, it's like a documentary. It's supposed to be a bit more than I like, but else knows.
Man, there's no fucking secrets in wrestling.
you do realize that the business done being got exposed, man. There's nothing you
It's
can do about
exposed. There's
that.
nothing you can't.
I don't.
The only other way you can expose it anymore is everyone just went in the ring with their dicks out, and that's about it.
But it is a really good show, though. I do. But he does expose how bad of a businessman Fabian Al Snow is, though.
Yeah, Al Snow's a good wrestler. He's not a fucking businessman.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Oh, and the people-
I'll watch it.
okay.
I know it's on Netflix, but I'll just.
I'll
grab
watch it just to see what it's about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is a good watch. I would recommend it to all of you. I've
Alright.
liked it so far. And then the PWI have taught the top 500 wrestlers of this
I-
year.
Oh, they had a glaring omission that Naito didn't even make the top 500.
And people
Who?
are
Left off
mad.
Who?
Naito.
Naito from New Japan.
I don't know.
He's just like,
Keep
fuck
him off
this.
the
I don't care.
fucking list.
Yep.
I don't care. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, with New Japan Wrestling, I don't know a lot of that.
But here's the best
crime.
thing.
If it's a crime, then they shall be punished for omitting it.
Do you want to know the best thing about the PWI 500? One of Ginger's favorite wrestlers of all time is in the top 3. John fucking Moxley has made the top 3 of the PWI.
There you go. That's why you don't take these fucking lists very seriously.
Oh, do you want to know the top 10?
Did he
Yeah, you
bleed
might as
by
well
reading
read
the
it.
list?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on then. Give us a top 10.
Hang on, right. Number 1 was Seth Rollins.
Yes.
Number 2,
Yeah,
this is
that's a
actually how I would have
fucking-
put it number 1. Number 2 was Roman Reigns.
He should have been the number 1.
Yeah, he should have been number 1.
Yep.
That whole bloodline thing was fucking amazing.
Number 3, John Moxley. Number 4, Gunther.
He would have been my number 3.
Yeah, Gunther would have been number 3.
Actually, he'd be my number 2. What the fuck am I talking about?
Yeah, number 2.
No,
Number two.
Gunther for me would have been number 3 because my number 2 was actually on number 6. But number 5 was Hijo del Vikingo.
Okay.
Oh,
Number 6,
I know
number
him, yeah,
6 MJF.
That's a little too.
Yeah, he would have
That would
been,
have been my number 2.
Yeah, MJF would have been
yeah.
number 2. Yep.
Yeah.
Number 7, Kazuchika Okada. Sorry, Okada. I should say.
Okada.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give him that.
Okada got number 7. Number 8, Orange Cassidy.
Mm.
God. Oh.
Mm.
Can we
Number
just
9.
cut this bit off of like,
Rick Whitby's favorite fucking wrestler.
Number 9, Josh Alexander.
Who?
the Impact, the Impact guy who wears the
Yeah.
wrestling stuff.
Oh, right.
Number 10, Cody Rhodes.
Wow.
He's
Okay.
been injured for most of the fucking year. How does he get top 10? He had like 2 fucking matches. What a stupid fucking list.
Yeah, I mean, Cody Rhodes wouldn't even have been in my top 10. I mean,
No, I would have. I would
No.
have put him probably like 2021. He would have been up that high.
I mean,
Fucking-
this
fucking
is why
ridiculous.
I've said.
Where's Sami Zayn?
Well, this is what I've said should have been the top 10, at least in my opinion. 1, Roman Reigns. 2, MJF. Number 3, Gunther.
Yeah.
Number 4, Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
Number 5, Seth Rollins. Number 6,
Okay, yeah.
Okada.
Yeah.
Number 7, Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Number 8, Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
Number 9,
Well, the stuff he's done with MJF, yeah.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah.
Number 9, Jay White.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
number 10, Josh Alexander.
I don't hate that list.
No, that's fine.
Speaking
I
of-
don't know much
speaking
of
of-
Alexander, but the others, yeah, solid.
I was gonna mention this before I forgot. Congratulations, Impact! You have survived enough with the cockroaches and the dinosaurs to make it to 1,000 fucking episodes. I am
Yes, have to
shocked
go-
as hell.
I'm gonna watch it tomorrow. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
they brought back a whole bunch of the old knockouts.
Yep.
Nice.
Like,
So,
like also
Austin
Kong and Grave
Kong.
Cave.
Awesome Kong is the one I'm looking forward to seeing because I want to see if
Fucking
she's
love
healed
Awesome
up and can
Kong.
go again.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my
WWE
all-time
still-
favorite female wrestlers.
WWE, I still have not forgiven them for how they fucked up
Come
Awesome
on.
Kong. Yeah, I still have not forgiven them for how they fucked it up.
Unfortunately, when it came to Awesome Kong, a lot of that was
Pregnant.
out of WWE's control because if you remember,
was.
shortly after she
pregnant,
debuted,
yeah.
she was
She got
was
pregnant. But yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was out of their hand. But I mean, I would say she shouldn't have gone there. But at the time, there was nowhere else to go. Impact was just fucking. It was dead at that point. Like they destroyed the knockouts. So it's a shame. Like fuck, I love it. Kia Stevens, man. Even in
Yeah.
Glow, she was awesome in that. Just even her acting was just brilliant. So I cannot wait to go and watch her and the knockouts return because I like women's wrestling in TNA at the time was the must see part of TNA for me.
Gail
that-
Kim versus Awesome Kong
absolutely.
on Impact is one of my favorite matches of
Yeah.
all time. Yeah.
Fucking
and
amazing.
they broke a lot of ground in that knockouts division. I mean, what was it?
They did.
Tara and Daphne had the first ever women's first blood match.
Yeah, they did, and this is why I
And they
scoff
tore the
when
fucking
people
house
always
down.
talk about like WWE, the forefront of women's. I was like, WWE caught up with everyone else.
Yeah.
Let's be fucking honest, all right?
Mhm.
WWE was decades behind, and if it was up to Vince and John Laryngitis, they'd still be doing bra and panty matches, but the pressure had to move with the fucking times. So let's stop. Like TNA was leaps and bounds ahead. of
TNA
everyone else.
destroyed
They were
the
in the
WWE women division. Yeah, and
They
Yeah.
were in the beginning, I'll say that, because if
Yeah.
you remember, initially when it was Dutch Mantel who handled the Knockouts division to begin with, it was treated seriously.
Yeah,
Awesome Kong and Gail Kim were featured, and they were having, blow-away matches.
yeah,
It was treated like fucking Medusa versus Bull Nakano.
yeah,
That this was a tremendous rivalry. Gail Kim, Awesome Kong, phenomenal. However, when Vince Russo took over, we started to see things like Daphne getting a lockbox challenge where she had to go down to the ring and perform a striptease.
Yeah, that
yeah.
god-awful
I mean,
And then they had
you had the lingerie matches. You had
you had
the
the
beautiful people.
you had the
always
beautiful,
teasing they were going to kiss on national TV.
and then you had Val Venus debut in one of the worst fucking segments during the
Yeah.
first night of the Hogan
Oh,
era. They're sitting there like being like, "Oh yeah, they're going to play strip poker." No, they're not. We know they're not going to get naked. This is basic
No.
fucking cable. We know it's not going to happen, like Cornette said.
breaks my heart when they brought Vince Russo in. It really does. And then Hogan
Mud-
and Bischoff.
The mud matches as well when Vince
Oh.
Russo took over.
I mean,
Knockouts
the
division.
people were fine until they brought Lacey Von Erich in, and then it wasn't fine.
And then they fucked around and had Dixie make that speech like when Hogan was coming in, like, "Don't you dare say shit. Like, you can't question my methods." And half the roster looked bored as shit. You could still find that speech up on YouTube, and I just look at it and I just go, man, all that talent, to think most of them left like shortly after she said that. Most of them were gone.
Yeah, just fucking stupid what happened.
Yep.
It was heartbreaking because that was the wrestling I was watching. I
Mhm.
never missed anything from there. Easy access, Challenge TV over here in the UK.
Yep.
Bang, must see TV, and then they just destroyed it.
And my favorite fucking thing that should have gone on way longer than it fucking did, Chet Lemon and Black Snow. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Chet Lemon and Black Snow is the funniest shit TNA ever did. And it should have gone on a lot. And Scott Steiner is the world's greatest ring announcer.
Is the world's greatest ring announcer.
That was the greatest episode of Impact I think I ever saw in my life.
Speaking of Scott Steiner, did any of you see MJF doing the Steiner Math promo?
Yes,
No.
yes. That was
No, I
legendary.
didn't see it.
Yep.
No,
It
I
was
was
Well, you're
find
waiting
it.
to watch it. He has done the Steiner Math promo on Samoa Joe.
Yeah, he did it to
Right.
Samoa
Was
Joe.
that on,
It was great.
What was that on Dynamite?
It was on AEW. I think it was on Dynamite. Yeah.
I will link it and I can put it in the private chat for when this is over.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I will definitely fucking watch that. Cool. All right. Okay. So that's wrestling done. Where are we at?
I agree with Cheeto. We should do a watch along of Impact's 1000th show.
We should. Yeah, that's actually a good idea.
If you guys want to, yeah. I mean,
Oh.
Cheetah did mention it for this weekend, but I can't tomorrow or Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Hey, look, if we can set a time, even if we can't do it live, I mean, we'll just all get together and do
And
a
watch it
along
anyway.
together.
Yeah, I mean, you guys could go ahead and do it as well. By the way, if there's enough of you lot, doesn't need
Yeah,
me.
we could do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys could do it. Don't fucking
Okay,
I
I'll
don't
put
have
it
to
in
be
the private chat. It's a short, but you can watch it.
What time
Yeah.
is the?
What time is it supposed to be?
Yeah, what time is it? That's what I was going to ask.
Oh, I haven't a clue.
What?
I don't know
Well,
either.
now it's 1 a.m.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can do that.
I'm
Is
gonna
that
look
what you
and
want to
see.
know, Gaz?
I think he meant
No,
what
no,
time
I
the
think
show's
it's
airing.
what time the Impact show is going to be on.
It's on. It's already out.
Oh shit. Okay, so we'd be watching it on a delay, but it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
but I mean, who cares? I mean, we get together, we
Yeah.
all watch it together, and we can give
Yeah.
live commentary.
Yeah, I mean, like the 1000 episode came out on Thursday.
Okay, so yeah, we'd be on a
It
delay.
doesn't
but
matter.
Who
You can
cares?
just watch it there. You
again,
still watch it.
I've avoided spoilers because again, I want to see the show for myself. In
Yeah,
particular,
same.
Yep.
I want to
Yep.
see the
Yeah.
women's match because again, I want to see how well Awesome Kong performs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that. That's my tomorrow thing. I'm gonna watch it while I'm looking after the nephews. I'll just whack it on my laptop and just enjoy that. Introduce
I wouldn't
them
have
to
said that
wrestling.
out loud, but okay.
Well, no, I mean they just play in their fucking
No,
thing. They just do their thing. I don't need to actually be. That's the beauty. When the older they get, the
You
less I have to
completely
do.
fucking
They're
missed
just
what I said.
like dinosaurs. Yeah. Get the G-Man back in. So, okay. Moving
Okay,
on.
but that's wrestling nonetheless. Yeah.
That's wrestling. Yeah. Right. Next, we've got Bill Maher, Drew Barrymore, Scabs. Dirty, dirty little scabs. I could have put this one in politics, but I thought I'd put it in film and TV because, you know, I love shitting on Bill Maher anyway because he's just a fucking cretin of a person. And basically, with the strikes going on, they've decided to bring their shows back. So, no form of solidarity with the strikers whatsoever. Bill Maher is the worst of the lot because he, in his rhetoric, in talking about this, what? Why have I got two Gazes that have joined here?
Mhm.
I don't know. I only see the one.
Oh, there we go. All right. There.
Oh, there you
Now
go.
what's going on.
Okay.
Stop fucking about. Right. But anyway, so yeah, Bill Maher and his rhetoric, he's never once held the CEOs accountable at all. He's blamed nothing but the writers and the people striking. He's never talked about the CEOs at all and their egregious actions in trying to basically starve out people striking. And Bill Maher in Bill Maher fashion, because he's a selfish, self-centered prick, has brought bringing his show back on the air. And he's like, well, I'm not going to do the monologue and all this kind of shit. It's just like, that's not the point. You missed the whole point entirely. And Drew Barrymore tried to give some pathetic apology with the Waterworks about bringing the show back and all this kind of shit. And the problem is, actually, before I go on any further, Shredder, your thoughts?
Yeah, because I mean, Drew Barrymore has said that she doesn't need writers because it's a talk show, which is utter bollocks. You need writers.
You need writers for a talk show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, Maher's the same. He's claiming because he won't do an opening monologue. That's fine because he won't need a writer because he can get by with just talking to a panel. But again, it's a complete lack of solidarity with the writers. You know, it's fucking over so many people within the industry. And Keith Olbermann, I thought, did a phenomenal job taking Bill Maher to task in his podcast this morning. If you go listen to the Friday edition of Countdown with Keith Olbermann,
I'm gonna add that to my list.
Yep. He named him on worst persons. He even said, "Spoiler: it's Bill Maher."
He's a prick, a hypocrite.
And he also tells the story of how he met Bill Maher back in 1978, and he hated him since then.
Yeah, I mean he's a fucking cockworm. Look, we all kind of enjoyed him when there wasn't a lot of like progressive options, but he just got old really fucking fast. Yeah, but he's always been a cock. Like I'd never say I liked him. You know.
We mentioned it last week. I mean, the fact is that he regularly allowed snake oil salesmen onto his show.
Yeah,
and he allowed overt racism, overt transphobia to go out on his own show.
Yeah, I mean, there's a clip that came up with him, and he's on a panel with Cedric the Entertainer, I think Ariana Huffington, Rollins, what's his name? That fucking musician. Henry Rollins. Yeah, and all of that, where he's just basically defending, a teacher that slept with a 14-year-old.
Yeah,
and saying
he's done that before.
Yeah,
he's brought the N-bomb on his show before.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's just a garbage human, and I expect nothing less from people like that. Like, if anyone deserves to be cancelled, it's Bill Maher for being a complete fucking piece of shit. Drew Barrymore, I don't know what her reasoning is for bringing the show back. Like,
she thinks that she showed enough solidarity by cancelling, her gig hosting the MTV Music Video Awards.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like she needs the fucking money.
She's rich.
But this is just this. But this just gonna allow other shows to kind of start creeping back in now as well, and that's just how you work towards breaking a strike. So it's just scabbing in such a horrible fucking way.
In Maher's case, he is literally standing up for the CEO of HBO Max.
Yeah. Big time he is. That's why he has to criticize Zaslav, who's one of the big kind of biggest sinners in this whole thing. The amount of money that he's made, and within the money that he's made, there's enough there to kind of help with the demands, with what the writers are asking. I hate using the word demands because that's, you know, puts a negative spin on it. But with what the writers are
what they
asking and
want.
all of that,
Yeah.
within his profits alone, there's enough there to cover that. It's just yeah, there's no excuse for that. And you know, just to slightly veer off onto the other strikes. Obviously, the UAW now striking. So this is the auto workers that are striking in the United States,
Ooh.
and one of the CEOs of I think was it Chrysler or one of the big car manufacturers and all of that. She was interviewed at CNN, and the reporter was asking her to justify why her pay rise went up by 35 million, you know, over a certain period, but you can't grant same kind of pay rise. You know, you can't grant pay rises to your workers. Instead, you're just laying them off and all this. And how can you justify your salary compared to what the workers are making? And yeah, she couldn't justify it. She had no answers. Like, you know, my salary is performance based. Well, if you look at what's your performance based, lay off a bunch of workers,
Yeah.
raises the stock price, stock buybacks, all this kind of shit. And that's how you're getting your fucking money. It's just this, you know, reward for being a cunt, basically. And she couldn't justify it. And I was happy to see people like get held to task on it. And, you know, Zaslav and people like that, Bill Maher should go on his show and just hold Zaslav to fucking task. He doesn't need the show anymore. He's got money and nobody wants to listen to that prick anyway. So yeah, like it's just fucking frustrating how people who have the platform to hold, you know, those that are responsible for this accountable, and they don't do it. And I'm glad Keith Olbermann called out Bill Maher in such an aggressive way as well. I really hope also this doesn't get the ball rolling on other shit coming back. So yeah, any other thoughts on that before I move on?
Pay your people. Pay your writers.
Yeah,
All that needs to be said.
Yeah, and plus, like, anything that British unions, just fuck those guys.
Yeah,
Because you support you try catching guys. It's for everybody's benefit, just not for yours.
yeah, this is it. I mean, the landscape of TV is changing massively. You know, it's just not going to be.
Can I just say fuck AI? Did I just say that? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean that's a given. You know, you're trying to say, yeah, look, what we'll do is we'll use AI to write the basic script, and then you come in, we'll pay you hardly anything to kind of tidy it up. That's
tweak it a little bit.
That's what Hollywood wanted to do. They wanted to use Chat GPTs and all of that to kind of write the basic script.
Have you actually read the scripts they've written? They're fucking written by hardly 40-year-olds.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They're horribly bad.
Yeah, I do want to see one film made out of a script made purely out of AI and unedited, just to see like what nonsense it is. Like
that would be good just for shits and gigs.
Yeah,
like
not even a film, just like a show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well, South Park did an entire episode written by ChatGPT.
They did. They really did.
Who did?
South Park.
They
did an entire episode that was written by ChatGPT.
Oh, they did. That's right. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like that episode of like, how do I deal with Wendy or whatever the fuck? And like, Clyde goes to him and he's like, ChatGPT, dude. And then he just like, the entire episode just writes itself.
Yeah.
And it was still funny.
It was very fucking funny.
Yeah.
But you know, again, it's done deliberately and in a good way. But we don't want it to be an industry wide thing, because then it's not personal. It's not you just. You know, it becomes basically Star Wars, which is soulless garbage that's just churned out.
I don't like sand.
Instead
it's coarse and it gets everywhere.
What's that? Yes, yeah, so yeah, we don't want it. You know, that's one of the main things that they're arguing against as well, is they don't want AI to become mainstream, used and adopted by big studios, and I couldn't agree more. You know, it's not their fault that they went down the streaming service, which has completely fucked them up. And if cable, like again, Disney like brought back, what was it, college football, Hosea, on ESPN and all that, but they wanted to hold the cable company to pay out more money for it. But the cable company were like, hang on, mate, nobody's fucking watching cable anymore. So no, this is the offer, take it or leave it. Whereas before, Disney would have had a lot more pull and got more money. Now with cable, they're just like they don't have the same pull anymore, and it's a dangerous precedent for media going forward, because if you lose the revenue stream from television and then you're only getting it from streaming, that could collapse the industry, you know, or you're going to rely on the profits made from films, because cinema is still a good like venture. Whereas TV and all that, people much rather watch a fucking Mr. Beast video than watch something on TV. You know what I mean? Cable becomes free. You know, you stop charging what you're charging because there's no money in it anyway. You know, people are cord cutting in record numbers. So it's a very kind of turbulent moment across the board. Like we saw with ITV over here, like their revenue dropped massively. Which, all right, if you watch what they got on TV, they ain't got fuck all. And like British TV is garbage. It's absolute just dog shit. It's just panel shows and shite.
Yeah, it's been that way here in America forever, like since the early 2010s. It's like nowadays you could just catch everything online. It's why we got streaming services. Granted, streaming services, depending on what you watch, a lot of those are starting to be kind of shit, depending on what you watch. So yeah,
I mean, Disney Plus
is
absolute dog shit. Like, you can't have the entire library of Fox and the classic films that they have and not have them on there. There's just no excuse. You know, all the kind of obscure comedies that they used to have and all of this kind of stuff. It's not on there. It's just garbage.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I don't know. Okay. I was going to mention soccer, but I think I'm just going to move into gaming now. Nintendo Direct had their showcase, and they just gave us more of 20 different Mario games, and they all look cracking. No, so we had Peach is getting her own game. It's called Peach Showtime. Cancel them. Cancel both of these two. Sexist. Outrageous.
I hate Peach for a different reason.
Where's the straight white male characters in Peach's game?
I hate her for a different reason. She's been cheating on Mario all this time. For those of you that don't know the theory.
Hey, listen.
Oh, with Bowser Jr.
Yeah.
It's you know, it's a different world, okay? Don't impose your fucking backwards American views on an entirely different universe.
She cheats on Mario the whole time, dude. Like, she's been cheating on him for like 35 years.
Maybe they have an open relation. Maybe he's banging Daisy.
But,
you know,
okay, like,
why the stuff he might be doing with Toad? You don't know.
Why is it always Mario? Why is it always Mario's job to go rescue the princess? It's always convenient that she gets kidnapped. What the fuck is this bullshit?
Yeah, No, I've been kidnapped. Why are you naked?
Yeah.
They stole my clothes. They kidnapped my clothes in another castle.
Yeah. Like what is this bullshit? Like,
what's this Astroglide? What's going on there?
So she gets kidnapped, and now like 30-something years later, she gets her own fucking game. Get the fuck out of here! Come on now. What is it going to be?
She's going to go kidnap Bowser Jr. now.
Yeah.
You know. Mm-hmm. She's going to be like, oh no, I'm being held hostage.
Alternatively, you've got the other kind of fan theories, fan fictions, where Mario's fucking Rabid Peach.
Yeah.
Rabbit Peach.
Yeah, that's a theory.
The rabbits.
Oh, from the rabbits, right?
Yep.
Hey, but you know, I don't judge you if he wants to. That's up to him. Who am I to?
But Peach gets her own game.
Yeah, Peach gets her own game. That's her reward for being a slut.
Yep.
And I'm all for it. You know, now I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it looks awesome. You know, even if there are these couple of 2D games like Super Mario Wonder, is it Wonderland or Wonder something like that? I forgot what it was bloody called. That looks.
The Princess Peach game. I'm prepared for about 50 videos from the quartering where he complains about the fact that at the end of the Princess Peach game, we don't get to see her in a bikini like Samus in Metroid games.
Nintendo is woke. Nintendo
Yeah,
is
it's
woke.
Wilkes woman game. My brain can't handle it. Jesus Christ.
Nintendo's gone woke. They're gonna go
Hey,
broke.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, Vettel.
Okay. We're also getting this one's a personal favorite of mine. Like Tomb Raiders 1, 2, and 3 getting a remaster.
All right, cool. Is that
release.
coming to all consoles? Do you know, or is that just
I think
Nintendo?
it's just a Switch.
I think it's just Switch.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah, it's just a Switch, and it's online only. I don't think you can get it on a physical copy.
I kind of
you
figured
can
Is it just digital?
I
I'm
think it's
gonna
just
look this.
digital.
Just digital
I'm gonna
download.
look this up. I'm gonna look
Yeah,
it up.
have a look, but I think it's just digital because it said like I think Nintendo eShop and all this kind of shit.
I want
I
to be
did-
sure that what
I
we're
want to
getting-
get them as long as the price is good. Just because I love the originals.
If it's 40, I would go for it.
Yeah. I
Okay,
love,
good. They're coming to PS5 and PS4 too. Cool.
oh,
Let's
okay.
do that.
Oh, even
Yep.
better.
So I'm getting it for
great.
that.
I don't.
Hey, if
Eh?
they're anywhere near as good as the Crash Bandicoot or Spyro remasters, then
I'll
you
buy
know,
them. Yeah. Make
Yeah,
it
I
40
mean they're
bucks, I'll
not.
buy it.
They're just straight up. They've just kind of updated the graphics and a little bit of the game engine. I think they said they've added one or two little extra bits in there.
I'm going
But-
to tell you what it is on PSN while I'm sitting here because I've got
Yeah,
the
that's
app
fine.
on my phone.
They're not. Then it's not. They're not like huge. It's just more like an update of the graphics, which is perfect for me.
They're doing
That's
the
what-
same
but they
thing.
said
that
you
Metal
get the
Gear-
what happened
option-
with Crash and
Sorry.
Spyro. So again, if that's all it is, then fantastic.
Yeah, that's pretty much all it is. And yeah, I agree. That's absolutely fantastic. But the thing is, you also get to switch between the old pixel graphics and the new updated graphics.
And you could have done the same thing with Metal Gear, Konami.
Yeah, but you didn't get the chance. But yeah,
Right,
in this
right.
one you get to switch. So you can get for people like Cheeto who have the square boob fetish, they get the triangle boobs as well. So
But I do quite like the newer ones. I know you be different, Paddy, but I do quite like the newer ones. I've been playing those recently, and they're all right. I mean, the original ones had their issues with the controls with shit. The new ones, the control are a bit more tighter, in my personal opinion.
I get what you mean, but like they fixed those in the anniversary editions ones. The controls were great in that.
Can I buy the? Can I look?
What is up, YouTube? Manbear Pig from the Quartering here, and I want to complain about these remasters of Tomb Raider.
They're
And the
woke.
fact is, they still haven't fixed the naked Lara Croft cheat. She still explodes.
Oh my god. But yeah, the remake, the new when they rebooted it, I didn't like those games because it basically just became like Uncharted, where you're going through a story and then you get a bit of game.
Boy, if you diss Uncharted, we're gonna have a problem.
No, look, I have my issues with Uncharted, but I love 1, 2, and 3.
3. I'm
I
about to
hated
platinum
4.
those.
Hated
Yeah.
4 with a passion. 4 was basically way too many cutscenes, and
I
I've
I've got good news though. It's going to be around $27, so with tax, more like $32 for the entire collection.
so about 30 quid.
Okay. I'll buy those. Yeah,
10 or
Three
8
games,
one.
for 3 games to get remastered, I would say that's pretty good.
that's
Yeah,
good.
it-
Yeah, I'm going to buy
yeah.
it. Mm-hmm. Comes
Yeah,
out, I think.
Look how much
Yeah.
they're charging for Red Dead Redemption remastered.
Yeah, full
What the
price, isn't
hell?
it?
Yeah.
That's actually no. It's not a remaster. It's a port.
Yeah, it's just a port. It's not
It's
even
a
a
port.
remaster.
Yeah.
It's a port.
Yeah.
Oh, there was also the Call of Duty remaster years ago where they
They're gonna
charged
be-
you for the extra maps.
They're going to
Yeah.
be doing that again. I don't
Yeah,
know
they're
if you
doing that
guys
this
know.
year because
Yep.
Modern Warfare 3 is basically just Modern Warfare 2.
Oh no! They're going to be doing that again. They're going to be doing it with Black Ops this time around.
What
The
do you
Black
mean?
Ops series in 2025. They're talking about remastering the Black Ops games, the first couple. Yep.
Fuck's sake.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't really give a shit. I will be buying those anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, for those that are interested, Mario RPG, I would have gotten that game, but the turn-based stuff just pisses me off. But it looks good. Again, it's just a remake of the old SNES. Well, I don't think it's a remake. It's just a return.
Yeah,
But
it's
it
more of a
hasn't been one
return.
since the SNES version. It does look good, but again, the turn-based stuff puts me off personally, but that's okay.
Mario
we'll
Wonder is
see-
going to be coming out soon. Cannot wait for that.
What one?
Mario Wonder is going to be coming out soon.
Oh.
Cannot wait for that. That
Day
looks
one,
that'll
mate.
be
Day
good.
one.
Yeah.
Day one. Getting that day one for sure. Song of Nunu looked really interesting. I think it's like a League of Legends story and all that, but it doesn't play like League of Legends. It's like a third person kind of exploratory
Okay.
thing. It looks really good from what I've seen. They didn't show a lot though, so it's more like wait and see how much more we get. But they showed like climbing and sliding down a thing and all this kind of shit, and I'm happy with that. You know, cartoony looking, all this kind of shit. I don't need like elaborate, dark, gloomy graphics. So yeah, that looks good. And we got Mario versus Donkey Kong again, another remake from Game Boy Advance. I remember this game; it was really good. So I'm happy to see that coming to the Switch. So again, it's another 2D side scroller. It does look good. Paper Mario looks pretty good as well, but I think that combat is.
I think it's also turn-based. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a no from me. Those were the main standouts from the Nintendo showcase. We did have.
And you want to know the sad thing? Still no Metroid Prime 4. We're still waiting on that. I don't think we're ever going to get that.
You're going to get that maybe on the Switch 2. I think that might be a launch title for the Switch 2 because the Switch 2 is rumored to be coming out next year, which I'm not going to get one this time around.
I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait.
Yeah. I don't need 600 Mario fucking games again. I've only got the Switch because I've got a really ridiculously good deal on it. But it's only now towards the end of its career that all the better games are coming out. It's just I had nothing for like a year and a half. PlayStation
we've recently seen the PS5 drop in price to where it was £399 with a game.
Yeah, it's gone
£390 with a game. Yeah,
something like that. £390 with a game. You know, because it's rumored that it's either the PS5 HD or the PS5 Pro or the PS6 is coming out sometime next year.
Not the PS6.
Six ain't coming until like 2032.
The main rumor is the PS5 Pro.
Yeah, the Pro and the Slim are coming out next year as well. Depending on their price, if their price, well, I'm not even going to bother now because the price of the fucking PlayStation, just to game online, is gone up now.
Mad. I'm still angry about it.
So it's just like, I'll just stick with fucking PC gaming for now. You know, I'm just pissed off with Sony. Have gone to the dogs, and it's funny because I'm about to talk about their showcase that they did. You know, their state of play. They did the Spider-Man 2 showcase, which again, personally, the gameplay just bores me.
No, I think it's slightly more disagree about that.
And people are going to disagree, but for me, again, it's just cutscenes and QTEs and all this. It's not for me. Yeah. It's going to sell well, and I'm glad it does, because now Insomniac are going to move on to Wolverine.
Finally,
waiting for fucking 4 years.
Yeah,
I just hope it doesn't full of QTEs and cutscenes like this fucking game. They showcase the suits. A lot of them look ugly as sin. You know, fine. That game's going to sell really well, and that's fine. It's good for the studio. But it's not for me. Resident Evil got milked even further. We have Resident Evil 4 VR and DLC for Resident Evil 4 with some birds.
Well, I've got to say, I'm actually going to defend them on this. The Resident Evil series recently has been phenomenal. The remakes they've done have been all really good.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And the Village was great, and Biohazard was great, and the remake of 2 was better than it had any right to be.
Yeah, but they're just gonna, you know, Capcom have done really well by revisiting their old stuff, but it's gonna come to a head at some point. You know, you cut like Resident Evil 5. I don't think anyone fucking liked that game. 6 was an abomination, and then we're right back at number 7, which was great in VR, by the way. If you haven't played that in VR, it's awesome. But yeah, Final Fantasy 7 Part 2 Rebirth got showcase, and what a fucking spectacle it was. Looks gorgeous.
Yes.
Everyone in there looks like a sweaty nonce. But no, just joking. It looks beautiful. it's going to sell a lot of copies, but Square Enix are going to be like, it didn't meet expectations. But it sold 100 million copies, yeah, but
We don't care. We wanted 500 million.
We wanted 500
everybody.
million copies sold. You know, that's the typical rhetoric from Square Enix. They're making PlayStation 5 exclusives, and they complain that, you know, they don't sell.
It didn't sell that well because we did not.
Fucking idiots. But yeah, Final Fantasy VII looking good. And there was another game. It's just a bit of silly fun, but it's called Baby Steps. It looks like basically it's a walking sim, but a walking sim in the sense that the way it's just one of those games that is made to look frustrating as hell. In fact, I'm going to get the trailer up because it is hilarious.
Yeah, show me. Is he like that My Neighbor's an Octopus game? Or it's called?
Octodad, you mean?
Yeah, that's the one.
I don't know. Let's see. Right, here it is. All right.
It sounds like it's going to be.
Yes.
No, that's not the one. I'm going to get the right one that I saw. This one here. Right. Pause. Okay. Right. Share. Screen. Baby Steps.
Yeah, there's a couple of games I've heard that, you know, I would actually quite like to see remakes of, if possible.
Hang on, we'll talk about those in a minute, because that's a nice conversation to be had, for sure. Right, let's just bring this up. Let me full screen this bad boy.
There you go.
Gross.
What the fuck is this?
That's what I mean. It's like a silly
It looks like the Mystery Silly World.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay.
You
Well,
know you're going to be doing this with your controller.
yeah, that might be a problem. Okay.
This game is a problem.
It's going to be one of those that'll be good to see other people playing it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy it.
Yeah.
This looks like a more up-to-date version of that like Flash game, Quap.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fucking hell.
Oh, okay. Oh, that sucks. Oh.
It's like if Manbear Pig got turned into some drunk food Manbear.
Yeah, he's actually had to leave his basement for the first time.
Toast.
He has to try and find his cell porn on
Okay,
his stolen hard drive.
That's
This is why he couldn't leave the basement to go for a piss.
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, god damn it.
Nate, are you okay? You look sad.
Oh, hey, Mike. No, that's sad.
I am
I was
sad.
just taking a break from my run. So road's out.
Yeah, road's out, but no worries. Grapple point.
Oh, grapple point. Oh, just grapple. I'll grapple it.
Yeah, just grapple with a grappling hook.
Oh, yeah, I'll just grapple that fucker with my grappling hook.
Yeah, no worries. Just grapple that fucker.
I'll just grapple that fucker.
Yeah, good. All right. Well, Salada.
Oh, Salada. Yeah, all right. I'll just pull out my grappling hook. I don't know where my...
Yeah, quartering is like finally a game that represents me.
Okay, all right.
Swanton bomb. Okay, yeah. So a walking simulator of who skateboards like that?
Oh, right.
What the
So
fuck was
I don't know what this. Right. Did you guys ever play? There's a game called what's it called? Getting Over It. It's made by the same guy who played.
I've heard of it. I've heard of that, but never
It's
played
one of
it.
the most frustrating games.
Is that the one with the barrel and the hook?
Yeah, the guy
Oh,
with
fuck
the
that game.
yeah, but the same guy who made that game.
Humans Fall Flat is another frustrating game.
Oh, I love
Guy.
but I love
Yeah.
Human Fall Flat. Once you get used to it,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But yeah, it's frustrating as hell.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
yeah,
Am Bread's another one where you're a piece of bread and you're just trying to move around. That was
yeah,
hard. Yeah.
that was good. So Shredder, you were talking about what things you want to see get remade.
Yeah, I mean, WWE put something up on YouTube. I can't remember if it was YouTube or it was Facebook fairly recently, but it was talking about Here Comes the Pain.
Please.
Quite probably one of the best wrestling games ever made. And a couple of the guys on the roster were actually saying, they would love to see that remade.
Hell
with
yeah.
updated graphics and maybe even an updated roster. I
Yeah,
would say, hey,
but
if-
keep the
even if
same
you want to
gameplay engine.
even if even if you want to keep the same roster, but obviously remove Chris Benoit, because
Yeah.
obviously you would have to do that. That it would still be a great game. It would still sell well.
Damn
Yeah.
right. It would sell more than the newer stuff, I guarantee you.
I would be done with WWE if they just gave me Here Come the Pain remake. I'd be like, all right, that's it. I'm done.
Oh, speaking of remake, No
Hmm.
Mercy, WWE. What's it called? I think it's WrestleMania 64 or Wrestling Challenge 64.
Wrestling Challenge 64, which is a mod of No Mercy. I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
it's fucking phenomenal looking.
Oh,
It
really?
looks fucking
Oh,
great. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to
God,
download that and give that a try.
God, I wish I didn't have a Mac because I would totally play that game.
Okay. Games that need a remake. Okay. Urban Chaos.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Urban
Siphon
Chaos,
Filter.
great fucking game.
Siphon Filter. Where's our new Siphon
we haven't
Filter?
had
Yeah,
a
where is
Siphon
Siphon
Filter game in years.
Filter?
Cheeto, if you want to get Wrestling Challenge 64, there is a link to download it. In fact, I would highly recommend go to Wrestling Bio's YouTube channel.
Yeah, he'll tell you how to do it.
He did a full review of the game, and he also left a guide on how to get it up and running.
Yeah.
Oh,
You have to have
So-
Windows, though. That's what sucks. You have to have a Windows PC.
well, the rest
But
of
yeah,
us are normal cheaters.
Wrestling Challenge
We
64,
have a Windows.
It's a love letter to the golden era of wrestling, because it's the old 80s and early 90s roster.
And here's the
So
best part about it: they have
So
old
Matt
school,
King, Randy.
and they have old school commentators. That's what makes it.
Yes,
Yep.
an N64 game with commentary.
Yep.
And it's
Brilliant.
various commentary teams. So you've got Tony Schiavone and Jesse Ventura. You've got Jesse Ventura and Vince McMahon. You've got Vince McMahon and Bobby Heenan.
You got Gorilla and Bobby.
Gorilla and
Yep.
Bobby.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you guys need to download that. I'm telling you, download Wrestling Challenge.
I'd love to see a remake of Day of Reckoning, which was on the GameCube, which was one of
Yep.
my favorite wrestling games as well.
There is a mod out there, dude, speaking of, where you can download like a mod of Day of Reckoning where it's updated. And they've got like Ultimate X and like TNA various match types on it.
Ooh.
I gotta see if I can find it. I'll link you a
You
video.
can find it and just link it to us in the Facebook
Okay.
thing.
Because I'll link it to you guys so you can
I'll
see
be
what I'm
up
talking
for that.
about.
But yeah, Siphon Filter needs not even a remake, just a
Just
release,
a new game.
a new game. Fucking great game, Siphon Filter.
Or likes of Splinter Cell. We haven't had a Splinter Cell game in God knows how long.
2013, 10 years, the last
Yeah.
one, Blacklist, which was awesome.
And I know this is asking a lot, but fucking Silent Hill. Hello, anybody?
That's on the way. That's coming out.
Okay, good.
They're doing a remake.
I mean, there's other games I was thinking of. I mean, for example, there was another gem on the PSP, which I would love to see a new version of, or even just a remake of, Deadhead Fred.
Never played that. Any good? What was it about?
Oh yeah, it was a very, very good game. Basically, you played as someone who had been murdered and then brought back as a zombie.
All
Your
right.
head had been taken away, and you basically put on various heads to get various. You found and collected various heads, which
Okay.
you would put on to get various different abilities.
Hmm.
Your primary head was basically just being a brain in a jar.
All right.
But yeah, a brain in a jar with eyeballs, and that was your primary head. And the voice actor was the guy who played Dr. Cox in Scrubs.
Oh, John C. McKinley.
Yes.
Oh. For fuck's sake. Get your asses in gear and make that. I'm
Oh,
gonna.
it's underrated gem again. Another game again. There's games like that or Hogs of War that Rick Mail did the voice
Hogs
of.
of War. Great game.
I mean, I would love to see that returned as an HD remake.
Yeah. Another one I'd love to see was a PS1. Not many people know about it. It's called Team Buddies, which is such a funny game. Like I got a copy of it because I used to work for a company called Prism Leisure, who were not just supplied macros with DVDs and all that, but they were a distribution company as well. So anything Mortal Kombat, Prism were like the main distributors of those properties and things like that. And so because I worked in one of their divisions, they gave me different copies of all these games, and one of those was Team Buddies. And I swear, go Google it. It is so fucking funny. Like, it's basically the most un-PC game.
Is it like Leisure Suit Larry?
No. You're basically
okay. No? Okay.
You're like these little fucking circular characters, and it's not like a big map, but there's like 4 teams fighting against each other, and you've got to build your base up to a certain point to win.
Okay.
And you've got to like eliminate the other, stop the others from doing that. It's ridiculously good fun game, and it was so fucking funny. Like, there was oh god, it's difficult to describe, but the way they had you had your Dutch team, you had Scottish, you had English, you had Welsh, all this kind of stuff, and you just think of all the kind of weird send-ups that you could do with them. That's what it's like, and it's just a great, just a fucking brilliant game.
It looks really funny. It looks really good.
The voice in it, it's hilarious. It's really good. Tenchu definitely needs a remake.
If you want to talk about games that had hilarious voiceovers, which I wouldn't be broken up about seeing a remake of, Captain Blasto, the late Phil Hartman.
Captain Blasto.
I don't remember that one.
I mean, the games themselves were not anything special, but the voice acting was top notch.
Captain Blasto. I remember this.
Phil Hartman was some of his funniest.
God, you remember?
Old.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go watch a video now. Oh, good old.
Oh yeah, Captain Blasto. God, I feel
legend.
That's going way back. Yeah.
But how could you remake that though? Just bring in the original sound bites?
You could do that.
Yeah, I think if you just you could easily just transfer the original sound files over, but just do a graphical update of the game.
And one that needs to be remade
too, just to make it a bit less stiff.
One that needs to be remade that no one talks about? The Gex the Gecko series needs to be remade. No one talks about that. Gex the Gecko. It was during the time when like Jerry Springer and Crash TV was kind of blowing up, and there were a lot of innuendos and shit like that. You were running around as a lizard doing just weird shit.
Who owns the
IP of Gex the Gecko?
Yeah, who owns the IP?
I'm going to look that up.
Check it.
All right, here's one that needs I don't know, a remake, but a sequel or something.
Gary, if you say Bubsy 3D, I'm going to come down there and pour gravy down your throat.
No, Eternal Darkness.
Eternal Darkness. I remember that. But
okay. Yeah.
It's like an N64 game. It's brilliant.
Crystal Dynamics made Gex the Gecko.
Crystal Dynamics. Oh, yeah. Well, they're owned by oh god, Crystal. Who owns Crystal? They were under IDOS and Core Design, right?
Oh,
so they're owned by the fucking group that bought all these. Are they also not Endeavor? They're called something else, but I forget.
I know what you mean, though.
I remember Eternal Darkness. Good game.
Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver is a PS1 game that could get remade. That was a good one.
Oh yeah.
I think that's kind of come out because after the Embracer Group, there we go. I got it. After the Embracer Group bought IDOS, and all of that, because they own like the Tomb Raider and all that. One of the first things they kind of hinted at is that they're doing Soul Reaver games, Legacy of Kain games.
Okay,
so they're coming, and they need to make them good.
Because apparently there's supposed to be the new James Bond has gone out of EA's hands now. Thank God. It's
IO Interactive, the same people that did Hitman.
Yeah, that's
doing the next James Bond game.
I'm looking forward to that.
And it makes perfect sense for them to be doing it.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah, they've got the engine for it.
Hitman basically plays like a fucking Bond game at times.
Yeah.
Hitman is frustrating, yet it's fun. I like it.
I love it.
It's hard. Yeah. It's fun.
I fucking love the Hitman games. I still play them now. I've got all 3 on my PlayStation downloaded like on digital, so I could just switch them on whenever.
Yep.
They're just fantastic. So yeah, we haven't seen anything, but I think they hinted that they're going to show something next year regarding James Bond. So I'm really fucking looking forward to that. It's supposed to come out within the next year or 2.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But I'll tell you what was the best James Bond game. I know people always talk about GoldenEye, and I love GoldenEye, but
No.
the it was on the GameCube. What was it fucking called?
From Russia with Love or something like that.
Hang on. Everything or Nothing. Everything or Nothing.
Everything or Nothing is probably, quite possibly, the greatest campaign for a James Bond game.
Yeah, the best campaign for a James Bond game.
Yep.
I loved it, but also the multiplayer on it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was such a difficult game, like really fucking hard game. But yeah, I'd love to see that get. Well, I don't need to. I own Interactive for doing the James Bond game. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, let them have it.
Yeah. Let them have it. Give me that. I'm happy with that.
Again,
yeah.
if they give you games similar to Hitman, great. I mean, it's like how we're all hoping that Last Ronin is effectively going to be a version of like the Batman Arkham series.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please.
and I'll be happy with that. Please.
Yeah. Give me anything
Please give
Batman
it.
Arkham related. Give me like anything with the Batman Arkham label on it, with the gameplay and how that goes, and I'll buy it because
Aren't those guys the ones who are making the Suicide Squad at the moment?
yes, they are, and it's gonna suck ass. The reason why live service.
No. The Last Ronin is not being made by by them.
No. I'm talking about the Suicide Squad game.
Oh yeah.
Rocksteady
That's
is
made by the
making
Arkham
Suicide
lot.
Squad.
Yeah,
Yep.
Rocksteady Studios.
And
Rock
don't
just
buy
showed
it.
up on SmackDown. Who cares?
Oh, okay, yeah, it's live in Denver, and I could have gone, but I decided, yeah, fuck that. So I'm like,
Save yourself $400.
save myself, some money.
Yeah. So the Rocksteady, but again, it just reeks of studio interference. That game, because you could tell it's just a live service pile of shit, complete soulless cash grab garbage. It's dead on arrival. The Suicide Squad's dead on arrival, and hopefully Warner Brothers go back to the fucking drawing board and be like, okay, fine, fuck live services, just do more Batman Arkham games, but like Superman or Justice League characters. Because the live service model is practically fucking dead now.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't want to see Harley Quinn like flying around. I don't want to see that shit. I'm like,
yeah,
the way they did
exactly.
it, I'm like, no, I don't want that.
Yeah, so let's see. But I'm really looking forward to that Last Ronin game. Really fucking yeah. And then hopefully,
I'm a huge Turtles fan, so, and I thought that Shredder's Revenge was a really good callback to the co-op.
The DLC has been phenomenal.
Yeah, it's out. I
I've not actually played it. I've just seen playthroughs of it. It looks good. I don't think I can play it because I think it's not on anything I own. I don't think.
It's on every console.
Anything you own. It's on every single console.
It's on every console.
I couldn't find it on PS4 when I looked for it.
It's on PS4.
It's on PS4.
It's on PS4. Yeah. Just go to the CEX website. You can probably find it on there, somewhat cheaper. But yeah, it's on PS4, mate. It's on every platform. Like I have it on I have it on PC. But yeah, it's on everything.
I've been playing it on Switch. So, but yeah, Usagi and Karai as the new characters, but also survival mode has been very, very fun.
Ooh,
okay. I haven't.
I gotta buy it.
I need to get the Usagi DLC, and I have to update my DLC because I love Usagi. Love to see a Usagi Yojimbo game. That would be awesome. Fucking yeah! There's so much they could do. They just don't utilize. This is what annoys me with a lot of these corporations. Like they don't fucking know how to utilize their properties. And
I mean, look, there's lots of stuff that would be phenomenal IPs to use for titles. Judge Dredd, for example. Again, I think that would be a phenomenal MMO. Where you've got the option to play as a Mega City judge.
Yeah, it would be awesome. Yeah, but again, it's just getting I don't know. It is frustrating with so many great IPs, like lack of X-Men games, as well.
Yeah.
There's so much
Yeah.
potential with the fucking
Yeah,
X-Men.
lack of X-Men games, and also look at the drought of Star Wars games. I mean, how many Star Wars games came out before EA got the rights, and how many came out afterwards?
Yeah, exactly. But again, like Lucas Games, just they fucking brought in that dickhead CEO and they tanked the company completely.
Yep.
And then EA got the license and they shat on it. And what we get, fucking Jedi Fallen Order was a good game, but the sequel was broken mess as well. So
Yeah, the sequel was buggy as shit. I beat it, but I was like,
Yeah.
all right, dude, they need to patch this shit quick.
Yeah, I've avoided it because it's buggy and it's
Yep.
dead. And now we've got a Ubisoft game coming out for Star Wars, which looks generic.
You know it's fucked up when a Lego Star Wars game is getting the most
Yeah,
praise,
the
gotten the most
Lego-
praise.
The
last couple years.
Lego games
Yep.
have done everything that all the other studios have failed to do in every property. DC, Marvel,
Yep.
Star Wars, Lord
They
of the Rings,
nailed it.
Harry Potter, prior to the Hogwarts Legacy coming out.
Yeah.
But you fucking name it, like Skywalker Saga is spectacular. I love it to bits. That's like a perfect Star Wars game for me, and yet all these other companies can't fucking do a third of what the Lego lot have done.
And most importantly, the Lego games made them fun. They weren't just
Lego was fun as shit.
relentless. They weren't just a relentless grind.
Yep.
Yeah,
It made the
exactly.
it made the grind to get the coins fun, and then to get the cheats, and then be like, all right, I finally got the red brick to turn all the bricks onto where I can get times 10 brick, and then I could get like 20 million bricks per level, and then I could buy everything.
But
That
that's
was
the thing.
always
The
fun.
repeat, there was so much incentive to keep
Playing the
replaying the game.
Oh yeah, because there was
Yeah.
always new Easter eggs as well.
Yeah.
Especially when you unlocked new characters, where you could unlock areas that you couldn't previously access in levels.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Like I remember when the first Lego Star Wars game came out many moons ago. There were no Star Wars games at the time because this was when Lucas Games was run by a shithead, and they just stopped making games. They didn't care about the games at all. They just let the company fucking go under. And Lego Star Wars come out, and I was just like, "Oh my god, this is the best thing ever!" And I was just like in heaven, and they've just got progressively better
Yep.
as they've gone along. And it's just sad that it's Legos that are basically showing literally everyone else how to run a property. Like, forget the Star Wars stuff, the Marvel stuff, the DC stuff, like Lego Batman.
Yeah, Lego
was
Batman.
incredible.
I'm fucking ready for Lego Batman 4. Let's go.
Yeah,
Like, where is that at? I want it.
Lego DC Heroes was incredible.
Yeah.
There's just so much. Like, I love the Lego games. Like they're always like they're in the upper echelons of.
Those are like my
games.
day one gets now. Like if I'm gonna buy a video game, I see a Lego game, I'm like, all right, cool, I gotta have it. Yep.
Very rarely they step wrong, especially with a licensed property.
Yep.
So yeah, totally. Cool. All right, guys. Anything
All right,
else anyone want to talk about in terms
think
of
we're good.
gaming? No, we're good. All right. Well, I want to thank everyone that joined us in the comments. We always appreciate everyone's comments. I want to thank you to my panel of excellence. And stick around. Don't stick around because we're all going to bed. But, keep an eye out for all the other stuff we have. There's only one person watching now, so anyone just say goodbye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.